Hello. 1 second, guys. I know you guys can see me and shit. I'm just okay. So, hi guys. Yes, let me turn off the music here. Yes, I know it's supposed to be my day off, Doug, but really who cares? Who cares? We're not going to do anything too like serious though, okay? We're not going to do anything too serious. I honestly was just in the mood to maybe watch some videos with you all. Um I am safe, okay? I just wanted to maybe watch some videos with people, do some fun shit, right? Okay, is it because it's nuclear? No, it is not, Doug. No, it is not. But I'm not that much of a nerd, Doug, right? I actually like nukes. I think everyone should have one. Kind of like guns in this country. Everyone should just have their own nuke. That would certainly prevent things from happening, don't you think? Surely no one would use those incorrectly. Maybe we should start arming teachers with nukes. AMA Gaming is here. Hello, AMA Gaming. Hello, Alyssa. Hello, Retro Asher. Guys, I know it's a weird time for me to be streaming because normally I don't stream on Wednesdays. But but you know what I think? I think fuck it. I just wanted to let's do a little stream. We're gonna just do some fun shit. Like, I mean, nothing we do in this country is fun anymore. But we'll do some. We're gonna talk a little bit about atheism. I'm not really a talk about atheism. I'm gonna watch a video, uh, some Christian video trying to explain why God exists, and I'm just gonna dismantle it because I'm a horrible person. And AMA gaming. So it's lunchtime for me. I am eating. This is gonna sound gross. It is kind of gross. It's just like bean soup with like spaghetti in it, also like spaghetti noodles and ham. It's kind of just slop, but it's good though. It's good. It's good slop. It's good slop. Okay, it's good slop. Really, Doug? Nearly 900 Nazi-linked accounts discovered at Credit Suisse. Hilarious to me. Hilarious. Yeah, exactly, Meowsword. Exactly. This is very much Balkan crap. Okay, it's just slop. I gotta tell you, it even looks like slop. Look at that. Like, ugh. And it's like chunky. It doesn't even because the liquid evaporated. So anyway, it's good. It's a little flavorless, but I'm an American. It's whatever. Okay. Um, it actually is pretty good. I know it looks bad, but it is very good. Okay. Anyway, I'm just being an asshole, but okay. Mm, it kind of does taste like carbonara meals, right? Except instead of bacon, it's ham. All right. So, okay. Thank you, Fetty Spaghetti. I saw that somewhere. No, Big Braden, I didn't see that. Did I see that J.K. Rowling deleted data about her yachts off tracking websites once the Epstein shit came out? Of course she did. I can't stand that woman. Okay. Oh my god. All right. I'm sorry, not carbonara. What am I thinking, guys? It's not carbonara that uses bacon. What's that one kind of pasta that uses bacon or whatever? I can't remember. Whatever, who knows? How dare you, SoCal? I don't know. I'm an American. Everything has bacon. That's for sure. Okay, so guys, again, for those that are coming in here, you'll notice I'm already in the jester gear because I need to do some jestering today. Okay, for my mental health, for all of your mental health too. I'm sure you probably need to see me in a jester outfit. And so we don't have any goals or anything today in regards to super chats. Of course, I will accept whatever can be sent. I will accept accept whatever can be sent, of course, because I'm a greedy son of a bitch. And Meowzord says pasta fascists say carbonara is guana seal. Okay. Hello, Matsai guy. Yeah, God, there are so many gross things coming out in these files. We will probably talk a little bit about some of the things today. I know body swap. I know body swap. I couldn't help myself. There's too much to talk about. And I thought it'd be, you know what, SoCal, SoCal, go back to SoCal. Okay. Go back. All right. Um, yes, I decided because, I don't know. Let's do some fun shit, right? It won't be fun, of course. I mean, nothing can be fun in this country, but like, okay. but we're not gonna talk about the Epstein stuff that much. We might a little bit. We'll talk. Oh my god, JDH, thank you so much. Really, JDH, amazing. So glad to see you here, JDH. The Night King of the server. I don't know where I got this idea, JDH, that you're like the Night Lord. I barely know you, JDH, but I view you as the vampiric entity that resides on the server at night. Good morning, Ivana. Welcome. Welcome here, okay? So why are you beating me, AMA? Okay. So we're gonna talk about some stuff that's gonna be kind of fun. That's not fun. We're gonna first. I'm in the mood to do some atheism stuff. You have to understand. Oh no, that's okay. Oh no, no, big brain. I didn't mean that as like a bad thing. I was just saying we'll talk about it a bit later. You guys can talk about because this is like going to be casual. This is going to be casual. Lamira, oh my God, Lamira, so glad you're here. Hello, Lamira. Where have you been, Lamira? I haven't seen you the last few days, and we're in a cult, and you cannot abandon the cult. I'm going to use emotional blackmail against you, Lamira. Okay. Hello, Void. Okay. Insane, Doug. Okay. So yeah, correct, Matt Saga. I couldn't do a day without you guys. I'm hyper dependent on all of you emotionally. It's really sort of a parasocial relationship that we all have. All right. And I think about all of you when I'm asleep. Um, you're in my dreams. Okay. You're in my nightmares. Really, I'd never stop thinking about any of you. And I remember everything you guys did from the day before. I remember every little mistake you make, every little good thing you do, every little comment you make. I think about it constantly. I can't get it out of my head. Anyway, okay. So we are not going to do hey, Lamira, you never need to apologize to me. I'm being an asshole, okay? I don't blame you. Don't worry, we're not gonna talk about the Epstein thing stuff right now because God knows I need a break from it too. All right. So, Sir Bartholomew, thank you for the hearty thing. Oh, that's hilarious, Meowser. And I'm sure he did the I'm sure that was an accident. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, guys, right, Big Brain. The first thing we're gonna do, guys, is that's true, Matt Saigai. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. You know why I'm frustrated? Well, there's tons of reasons to be frustrated. The first reason I'm frustrated is because, guys, when you're in the you know what? I don't know if I'm generalizing here. This doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, or quote unquote bi, if that exists, right? You know, I'm joking. Of course, bi people exist. Or if you're a man, woman, non-binary, whatever it may be. Okay, trans. Okay, it doesn't matter. Whatever you are. Okay. Eh, you may know people who are not able to be themselves because of the religious community that they're in, right? And I met someone recently who has to be very careful when they talk to me because they are part of a religious community that is not exactly open to the fact that they are not straight. And I just get very and I feel powerless in this situation. Okay, I feel very powerless. And so I kind of feel the need to do some religion bashing today. So I'm warning all of you that this is going to be partially therapeutic for me. I I want you to know that you all are entitled to your religious beliefs, and I know, Sir Bartholomew, I want you all to believe whatever you want to believe, as I always say. But there are but I am going to let's talk a little bit about some atheist perspectives on things. And what I'm going to say, okay, thank you, Doug. That's amazing. Covell, welcome. Okay. Welcome, Covell. You've been in here before, haven't you, Covell? Covell skis. My friend is ex-Mormon and now a trans woman. Amazing. That is amazing, Covell. I'm glad they were able to liberate her. She was glad to liberate herself. Okay. I'm glad she liberated herself. All right. So here is a video of it's a apologetic. So apologetics is sort of thank you, AMA, thank you. You always know I'm here. You always know I love the edgy atheist shit. You also guys know that I do have a slight bias here. Okay. Oh, I love you, Lemire. Okay. I do have a slight bias against Christianity, okay? And I'm honest about this. You will rarely hear me. I think I've only ever said like one or two negative things about Islam ever on a stream. There's a lot more I could say, but like or other religions, but I just grew up around Christianity. I was a gay kid going to a Catholic school. I have a lot of pent up anger towards That's really unfortunate, Koval. Yeah, the Mormons are horrible. The Mormon church is horrible, I should say. But that being said, guys, nothing wrong with Christians, nothing wrong with Mormons. These are problems with institutions. And yeah, we could talk about how individual Christians or Mormons can be horrible people. They can oftentimes use their religious beliefs to be horrible people. But still, yeah, it's a cult. So you could be more pointed in your critique and go with American Christianity. That's true, Doug. Although this is really just Christianity, well, just beliefs in God across the board. Okay. So this is an argument by the tornado sirens are going off. So for those who don't know, there's a lot of places in the U.S. where, can you guys hear that? You might not be able to hear it. Can you guys hear that? So a lot of places in the U.S. and maybe even Canada, I don't know, have tornado sirens. They're air raid sirens. So you can't hear it. Okay, set up in all around the place to warn if a tornado is on the way or if there is a air raid or whatever. And every Wednesday at 12 p.m. They test the sirens, and it always is like, oh, the tornado sirens are going off. Um, anyway, so the tornado sirens just went off, and there's one right near where I live, and it's so loud. Okay, Meowsert, I would love to hear that story. But first let's continue. So this is Impact Video Ministries. Impact Video Ministries. So some evangelical Christian organization. Yeah, every Wednesday, Doug. Every Wednesday. Okay, yeah, we are in a place where that's fair, body swap. Okay. They mark noon with it every day. Every day, Ivana. Interesting. Okay. Really, guys, interesting. Yeah, for us, it's like every Wednesday at 12 p.m. They set off the tornado sirens to make sure they're working. They used to have this big speaker that would say, "This is a test of the tornado of the blah 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 emergency warning system," which was really creepy. But now they just set it off. Okay, so you have to understand though, I live in Tornado Alley where there are a lot of tornadoes, so it makes sense. All right, so here we go. Let's watch it together, guys. And again, we're gonna have a nice, relaxed stream today. When we may not even we'll see how long I go for. I don't know who the fuck knows. We're gonna do some relaxing stuff, bashing stupid ideologies or ideas and things like that. And of course, guys, we might talk about the news a bit, but please chat amongst yourselves. Send me information about things in the news. Do you? Okay, this is going to be a casual stream. I'm also eating lunch. This is why it's lunch with the Jester and why I'm already dressed like a Jester. Okay, so, oh my God, I love slop. Okay, so I am so gay, match that guy. Shall we continue? Let's go.
The question of whether or not God exists is a common question that many people ask. And the existence of God is one that is heavily debated between believers in a higher power and skeptics and atheists. And many times people who don't believe in God will ask for hard evidence for his existence. And they'll challenge Christians and tell them, show me proof and I'll believe. And to be honest, Christians can't give hard evidence that God does exist.
Oh, well, that's easy. That end the conversation then, right? Doesn't that end the So okay, here's the thing, okay. Oh my God, I know AMA, right? I know AMA. Right, exactly, Sir Bartholomew. Okay, well, first of all, let me read AMA. Okay, as a gay ex-Muslim, I actually don't fuck with religion, but it's always crazy how much Christian pastors bash gay people. Yeah, they're just open about it. I don't think I've heard one imam bash gay people. Yeah, correct AMA, right? It's much more open. People are much more open about it in Christian church and stuff. They openly talk about trans people or gay people or whatever. Okay, and I think part of the reason there is that, well, I don't know, but you're right. Okay. Right, Sir Bartholomew. Okay, cool. Bye. There's no evidence for it. Okay, bye. Then why does it matter? Okay, maybe we should just end it here. If they're admitting there's no evidence of God. Okay, well then why believe? Meowzord, my wife and I were in a small mountain town in Japan, and they did a test warning at 3 a.m., but no one told us about it, and the announcement was in Japanese. We started packing furiously because I thought NK shot a missile or something. Oh my God, that's hilarious, Meowzord. That's terrifying, though. Dear God. Okay. They also have tsunami warnings, sirens in Japan, Meowzord. Anyway. Okay. Right. Okay, exactly. Just some sort of evidence, right, Ivana? Okay, let's continue.
However, just because believers can't show God physically, it doesn't mean there aren't any good reasons to believe in God. So in this video, I want to cover 3 reasons why people can believe in God.
That's fair.
However, I should mention that these arguments should not be abused. For example, many people can enter into a debate of sorts and have the mentality to win and will refuse to listen to the other person and will only look for moments.
Oh my God, he's already coping. He's already coping. He's like, but if you if you start saying this is dumb, like you have to listen to me and like don't tell me I'm wrong. I will have a fit, okay? And a lot of times people debate these things and they start yelling at me and saying it's dumb. Like you can't do that, okay? This guy already said there's no evidence for God. And then now he's like, and then if we're not arguing. I don't want you to be mean to me though if you disagree with me, okay? Okay, calm down, buddy. We haven't even gotten there yet.
To make the other person look stupid for their lack of knowledge. Even now as I write,
Yeah,
I know many
Matt
people
Saigai,
will
that's
watch
kind
this
of the
video
point.
with the.
By the way, Matt Saigai, you're right. That is kind of the point of a debate. It's to make the other person look dumb. Not to make them look dumb, but to show that they're wrong. Okay.
Mentality to prove all these reasons for God's existence wrong.
Correct,
And they'll show it in
Tobel.
the comments. And that's honestly fine. But know that if you're a Christian, know that these 3 arguments that I'm about to cover are meant to promote discussion and to get people to consider that God may actually exist. So should you use them, be humble about it.
Be humble about it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching our videos, and if you haven't already,
Okay,
please
can we get
like
to
and
the
subscribe.
argument here? It's like
Also,
we're really.
I recently made a new design for some of our shirts and sweaters.
No,
With
you're
our
right.
Impact
You're right,
logo,
Big
I
Braden.
attached the Japanese
That's one of my
phrase
issues with debate, guys, is that debate is oftentimes just about rhetorical skill rather than, correct, guys. But that's the point, sort of to embarrass the other side, like to make yourself look better. In theory, it's supposed to show that they're wrong, but that doesn't really work in debates. That's why I'm not a big fan of doing debates. However, I have no problem. I actually put, guys, in the description of this stream, if anyone wants to debate me on their religious beliefs, please come into the chat. I would love to debate people based if there's any Christians out there or any if anyone comes into our live stream that's new, that sees atheist and wants to say I'm wrong, please come into the chat. I would love to have a conversation with you live right now. Okay. But anyway, okay.
Tozutsu, which is translated little by little. So if you'd like one, or if you'd like to support us in this way, you can click the link in the description below.
We'll get back to the video in just a sec. First,
Matt Saigai, I mean, Sir Bartholomew, that's the correct way to do things. Okay.
have you ever read a news story and thought, is this
Of course, the reason for that, Sir Bartholomew, is that Trump is at least a real person. Okay.
Argument
Oh my
number
God.
1.
Here we go.
The creation argument.
The creation
This
argument.
argument is also known as the cosmological argument. And while I could go through the argument in detail, where I go through each premise, I think it's better to explain it in a way that you can use it in a conversation. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, that's fine. All you need to know
Okay,
is
could you get to the argument? Why does it keep I just want to get to the argument so I can dismantle it. I know the creation argument. Tell us what it is.
that I'm going to break down this argument simply because you don't really need to know the premises unless you're in an actual debate.
Oh, so okay. I was going to invite whoever it was to Discord, if that makes sense. Okay, to go on Discord and then we can debate through there on stream.
So the creation argument essentially states that everything that begins to exist must have a reason for its existence. So since that's the case, we as people should also have a reason for our existence. So this is the way it works. Everything that we see has a cause for its existence.
Wait a minute. Okay. So, like, there are multiple problems with this. Okay, multiple problems with this. Dad, if you want to come, you can come sit next to us and watch this with us. If you want to do a reaction. We're reacting to a video, and we will probably disagree on this, Dad, but I just started this video, so it's apparent proof of God's existence. Three. It's a religion. Guys, it looks like my dad just arrived. So my dad will come and probably watch this with us. Yeah, this is going to be controversial, probably. That's okay. Okay, so Dad, I need to set up stuff for you. Guys, give me a second. Well, my dad looks like he's going to. Yeah, we're probably going to debate, guys. That's okay. We disagree on some of this stuff. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to get it set up for him, guys. Give me 1 second here. You can
talk to them, by the way.
Hi. This, I don't know, this might be a mistake with me down here.
Why?
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
I don't know what else to say. Let me see here. Green flannel fit is always nice. Oh, thank you. Yes. I'm a hippie environmentalist, and it shows in my flannel. Father versus the son, the king versus the jester. Papa's gonna wipe the floor with you and make you run. Crying for you. It's going too fast for your blankie, Sam.
What'd they say? I missed that.
It said, Papa's going to wipe the floor with you and make you run crying for your blankie, Sam. SoCal.
Aha! I'm not surprised SoCal would say that.
Oh, they love you so much. I'm telling my grandkids that COVID was the never end of humanity as we know it.
All right, guys, we're almost done getting this set up here. Here you go, Dad. Here's this for you. Here, Dad. And then give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna make sure the audio is set up well as it can be. Okay. Move it up like that. All right. How does this sound, folks? Does this sound okay? Does this sound good to everyone?
Yep. Oh. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right, Dad. So, I'll just quickly, I'll go back to the beginning of this argument. So this guy, Dad, is making the argument that he's doing apologetics. He's saying that there's three proofs that God exists, and we just got to the first one. Okay. So we can do this and debate it. And I'm gonna be vicious, by the way, because we're having fun today. It's our fun stream, so I'm doing this. I'm doing this as a coping mechanism for stuff. So okay, let me see here. Not to you, of course, I won't be vicious, but towards what he is saying, I'm gonna be vicious. All right, guys, everyone ready? Everyone ready? Yay! Everyone ready? All right.
God bless us all.
Disgusting. All right, folks, ready? Let's continue.
God's choking you already.
Argument number 1, the creation argument. This argument is also known as the cosmological argument. And while I could go through the argument in detail, where I go through each premise, I think it's better to explain it in a way that you can use it in a conversation. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, that's fine.
Hi, Louise.
All you need to know is that I'm going to break down this argument simply because you don't really need to know the premises unless you're in an actual debate. So the creation argument essentially states that everything that begins to exist must have a reason for its existence. So since that's the case, we as people should also have a reason for our existence. So this is the way it works. Everything that we see has a cause for its existence.
Okay, by the way, I'm already annoyed. You know why, guys? He said that everything must have a reason for its existence, and then he went on to say it means everything must have a cause. Those are two different things.
I think
a
they're the same
reason
thing.
and a cause are different things, right?
And I think he's right.
He's right about what?
That there's a reason and a cause.
No, Dad. He's conflating. He's saying that he said like everything has a reason, and then he made it sound like that's the same as everything has a cause. You see what I mean? Okay.
The cause comes about because of the reason,
or he just uses that term interchangeably. Hello, gluteomyalgia. Hello, in your groove. Hello, Mad Side Guy. Hello, Mousy Mouser. And so, what was the other thing you were going to say, Dad?
I was going to say I agree with him.
About what? Which part?
That there's a cause and a reason. Now, I view them as separate also, but
Okay, so what are those causes and reasons for everything?
well, you can find most of those reasons and causes in science.
Correct. Yes.
There you go.
Okay, we can agree with that, right? All right.
Example, we can look at a building and we can safely assume that there were architects and construction workers that were responsible for making it. On top of that, paintings come from artists, dishes come from chefs, and forests come from seeds, and mountains come from the Earth's tectonic plates moving. So the idea is that all that we see needed to have some kind of cause, and our universe isn't any different. According to science, our universe is expanding, and if it's continuously expanding, then if we were to rewind time, there had to have been a point in which everything started.
Isn't that, guys, forgive me. So, exactly, in your group, there doesn't have to be a reason for the universe to exist. There doesn't even have to be a cause to be theoretically, but
Scientifically, they're trying to find that.
yes. But at the same time, guys, question here. Is it not true, Matt Guy, anyone out there who's science, and Dad, maybe you know, isn't that sort of being debated now by scientists? I know that the universe is expanding, but isn't there also a thought that it's contracting?
Yes.
Like, isn't it?
Matter of fact, not a little while ago. When I say a little while ago, I want to say several years ago. I'm not too sure how many years ago. They were saying that that it was expanding, but it's slowing down, and it's on the verge of contracting. Well, lately they've been saying, well, it looks like it's not slowing down. It's constantly expanding at this point.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
idea, and so it has thrown a lot of theories into turmoil.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the question is, how did everything begin? And the answer to this question is still a mystery in science because we obviously can't go back and observe how life actually began. So the creation argument—
I'm so confused. I'm sorry. Can I go back? He is not good at making an argument. I thought he was talking about the beginning of the universe. Now he's talking about the beginning of life. I'm very confused. Okay, I'm going to try this again.
go back and observe how life actually began.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he threw
And
life
the
in
answer
there.
to this question is expanding. Then if we were to rewind time, there had to have been a point in which everything started. So the question is, how did everything begin? And the answer to this question is still a mystery in science because we obviously can't go back and observe how life actually began.
Yeah, what argument is he even making? This is so bad.
Two different ones.
Yeah, two different arguments. All right.
It's got to use the same terminology or something similar to do this. This is not good.
I don't get it.
Not a good argument.
No, he's not. All right. Fetty Spaghetti, they conflate the thing, Sam. The universe is the same as their personal life to them. Yeah, that's true, Fetty Spaghetti. Okay.
So the creation argument pretty much states that because things exist, things like the universe and its galaxies, stars, and planets, and the Earth with its land, seas, and people, then something or someone had to be responsible for its existence. And while people may argue and say, well, maybe the universe was just always here, to that, I'd say that the universe expanding is proof that our universe isn't infinite, because it all had to start at a single point in history. Because from what we know and observe from the universe, that's the most logical conclusion we can come to.
No, it's not.
So
I'm
if
so
the universe—
confused. Okay.
Okay, I'm not too sure where he's getting the information from, but
His ass.
there's the whole idea of the Big Bang Theory, and I stress it is a theory. However, they've been able to fairly say, well, it looks like that's probably it. That's how the universe began, because they can actually peer back in time.
Looking at radiation and things like that.
Radiation, and here's where people use things that I'm going, you don't know what really you're talking about, and that is, for instance, if you go out, well, let's say somebody says, hey, there we see a star exploding going through a supernova, and it is 100 light years away. So you get out your trusty telescope and you look at it and you see this bright glow in the sky, and you're going, whoa, look, it is exploding. Well, the reality is, by the time, well, I'll not say 100 light years, let's say a million light years. That's more better perspective. That means the light from that exploding star would
Take a long time to get to Earth.
take a long time to get here because light only travels at a set speed, although now they're looking at some possibilities, that it could be a little different, but it's still in the same ballpark. And so it'll take
And everything in it
Oops,
seems
sorry.
to have.
it'll take 100 million. What did I say?
It doesn't matter. A
I'll
lot of
say
time.
we'll go with million light years away. That means it'll take 1,000,000 Earth years for that light to get to us. So when you're looking at it, you're looking at the past. You're looking into the past. That exploding star, that supernova star, is probably no longer supernovaing, but it took light that long to get here. And scientists, using some of the most cutting edge telescopes, all different types of telescopes, not just the visual types, have been able to peer back, way back, at light and sound in the universe that gives us hints as to how it happened. And so you got to understand that. And he is not
Right.
I mean, that's big to the story.
Yep.
That's the most logical conclusion we can come to. So if the universe and everything in it seems to have needed a cause or reason to exist, then God or some higher power seems to be the only explanation.
No, see, this is what annoys me, guys. First of all, there's something called the problem of the infinite regress. Don't you love that? By the way, pull that out on a date, right? If you ever want to impress your date, be like, have you ever heard about the problem of the infinite regress? Anyway, it's the idea that this argument that, well,
Sound like you're talking about your love life.
yeah, okay.
Use that.
I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, that doesn't that imply then that someone who then created God? Does God then not have a then God must also have a creator. And then who created the creator of God? And then who created the creator of God? Okay. So like it doesn't make sense logically to be like, well, the universe can't be infinite, therefore something infinite must have created the universe. Because something infinite must have created the universe. Well, then why can't the universe be infinite? And if it has to be God that's infinite, then who created the God? You see what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's just and then why, by the way, if the universe is finite, and who says that it was created by God anyway? That's like just seems to be a random. What evidence is there that if the universe, something caused the universe, that it was God, a God of some sort, or the God of Christianity, or the God of whatever? None. Okay.
I want to throw something in here, and
Yeah.
that is, being human beings, we think everything has a beginning and an end. And it had to begin somewhere, had to be something to start this whole thing going, and thus had to be an almighty being. And it goes by different names throughout history, but God. And but science doesn't necessarily work that way. And scientists too, actually, they're trying to figure out. They can figure out about the point that the of the beginning of the universe because of what I told you, but going back to just before it starts or even further back, they are still working on that one. They said it is very possible. There's several different theories out there, but they say it is possible. And that's where one of the theories comes out that says we are
Well, it's possible. I'm sorry. Would you say it was possible? I didn't hear what you said.
to go back before the
Yes,
moment
yeah.
of the Big Bang.
Mhm.
They struggle with that because if there's nothing out there, then you're not going to see it. You can maybe see and hear the Big Bang because that sound and light travels on and on and on. But it's hard to try to find something that's not there before that happened in terms of the Big Bang spreading matter and energy and mostly actually energy at the beginning.
One of the theories, by the way, right now is that we're inside of a black hole.
Yep.
That, as a matter of fact,
Real recent.
that it actually makes sense. If you look at the size of the known universe, the size of the universe as it excuse me, currently exists and the amount of matter in that universe, it almost exactly matches the size of a black hole that would have that amount of matter in it.
Yep.
There appears to be the universe of most objects and matter in the universe rotates in one direction. Not all of it. Some of it rotates in the opposite direction, but the only thing that could do, like, that would make sense if you're in a black hole because a black hole has a rotational direction. So it could be that it's just an infinite loop
Yeah.
of everything going into a black hole and then coming out somewhere else, and that is like a burst. Okay, there's tons. It would also solve the information loss paradox, guys. There's like a ton of things that it could be, if that makes sense. It could just be like a looping thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And also, too, long time ago, there was a big mystery of, when it came to the Big Bang, that there should be more matter out there filling up the empty space. Well, eventually they came up with neutrinos and other things like that.
Subatomic particles.
Yeah, that they say when you look out what appears to be empty space, there's actually a lot of stuff there. But in recent times, more recent times, I should say, they have said, we've been able to calculate. Pardon me?
I was talking to them. Sorry, go ahead.
And, and they were saying that, now that we're looking at it again and using math, some people call that the language of God, if you want to. But the math.
I don't, because there is no God, but go ahead, Dad.
But I'm just saying that they want to.
Okay, well, they shouldn't.
Okay, I'm leaving.
You're leaving? What?
Oh, I want to go bang. But anyway, so anyway. Oh, they said there are actually not enough matter out there that they can calculate that would say that's everything that's out there. There's more out there that we need to discover, and they're experimenting. Matter of fact, that not cyclotron, or is it the one out in Bern, Switzerland? Or I think it's Bern.
The collider,
anyway, the largest one in the world. They've actually have experimented looking for this. Now you're ready for that.
There you go, Matt Saiga, the Large Hadron Collider. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. When they first started doing this, they didn't make this public very much, but it got out. Some other scientists were saying, you know what? We don't know what's going to happen if we do discover a new particle, because they discover it partly by colliding two other particles into each other. But anyway, the point is they weren't too sure. And one theory was it could start off a chain reaction that could just basically the universe. So,
right.
But anyway, the point
anyway,
is,
what's your point? Sorry.
The point is that we as human beings, we want to have a beginning and an end. But it may not be a beginning and an end here. It could be just recycles itself over and over.
That's
again.
for sure. Okay. Shall we, folks?
And that makes sense. And I know some people will say, you Christians look at the unknown and turn off your minds and credit the unknown to God.
Yeah.
At least scientists are out there observing and trying to figure everything out.
That's true. That's called the God of the gaps argument, folks. Throughout history, things that aren't understood have been explained by God, only to be proven time and time again to have nothing to do with a God. And it seems like that's still going on. So the thing right now is that if we can't explain where the universe came from, well, it must be God. Well, that's been the exact same argument used over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's been proven wrong. How many times does it need to be proven wrong before people stop using the argument? I suspect it'll never stop being used. Like the Catholic Church, by the way, for example, said would always throughout history has been like, this is because of God, this is because of God, this is because of God. And disagreeing with this means you're a heretic. And then they're proven wrong. And they're like, okay, so maybe that isn't God. Well, but everything else is still because of God. Then that's proven wrong. And then they're like, this then is proven by God. And then, which I just think is funny, because every time they've said that something is by God, they say that they can't be wrong and that the Pope is infallible, in that clearly this is dogma and has to be true. And then they're proven wrong. But apparently we should trust the Catholic Church, for example.
Okay, you're throwing something in there that has nothing to do with that. The Pope's infallibility. That only concerns 3 principles in the church, and none of it has to do with God. creating something.
Okay, what are the 3 principles?
That Mary was taken body and soul into heaven. That's one of the principles. You can actually look
I
it up.
am.
Infallibility is something mistaken. That people look at this.
States the Pope is preserved from error by the Holy Spirit when formally defining doctrines on faith or morals for the whole church. Okay. So let me see what, go ahead. Go ahead, Dad.
I'm going to say it, but there's only been 3 infallibilities that have been labeled infallibilities and are still looked at today as an infallible teaching.
Okay. What are they? Can you tell me? I'm curious.
I already told you one. I don't remember.
You don't
the
remember?
other
Okay.
2. It's been
Okay.
a
Let's take a
long
look
time.
then. So, guys, what we're talking about here, I know this is unrelated to the existence of God, is the notion that the Pope, let's see here.
There we go. It just said something about doctrine that it doesn't necessarily mean all.
I know
doctrine.
this limits. Oh, I see what you're saying. Limits, but does not allow any failure. Okay. So not all Catholic teaching is infallible,
Yep.
but that's Catholic teaching. Okay.
Matter of fact,
Exact. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What do you say, Dad?
I say, as a matter of fact, the Catholic Church modern day, partly because they were tired of screwing up things, and partly with Galileo, and there's a big story on that one I'm not going to get into, but they now have scientists that advise the Pope. Matter of fact, we had one Pope. Oh, who was it? Was it Pope John Paul II? It might be wrong on that one, but that Pope came out and said, yes, in terms of could there be life on other planets? And he said it most likely is, because science shows there's a lot of other solar systems and planets out there, and some of them within that, whatever they call it, the survival zone or whatever that's called, and that those actually could hold life, like scientists have said. And so they actually have advisors. And one of the advisors, you ready for this, that for a while was advisor to the church was, oh shoot, he was an atheist.
I don't know, Dad. I'm trying to.
The guy in the wheelchair.
I mean, it says here that the idea, as it was defined in 1870, is that anything that the Pope says in regards to the teachings of the Church is has to be basically believed or listened to. Has to be is because he can't be wrong. I mean, so they might have the reason I'm concerned, Dad, is because a lot of times the Pope, the Church, ex post facto will be like, well, except for in this case, in this case, in this case, after they got it wrong.
Well, I agree with that. But modern day, it has to be officially labeled infallible, an infallible teaching. Today it does. Now, doctrine, yes, as we know right now, this is doctrine that, we've got to, this is something we got to believe. But that also leaves, ex post facto, the door open to kind of like the past when Catholic church leaders tried to explain something or teach something that turned out not to be correct. It leaves open the fact, well, we've discovered more, therefore this is different, has changed.
So you would agree that the Catholic Church has been wrong on many different occasions, and therefore, what they're preaching now really can't be taken seriously, given that there clearly aren't an actual moral authority, since their moral teachings change constantly.
Okay. Now, you're talking about morality now and not so much about the creation of the universe.
No. You're saying, okay, no, they did. They used to teach, Dad, that certain aspects of what is believed about the world are basically have to be true, and it's immoral to not believe those things because it's against it's heretical and things like that.
Yeah. They have done that in the past.
So how do we then trust them on any sort of moral teaching if they have constantly changed what is considered moral constantly throughout history and things like that? That certainly doesn't sound like a particularly vibrant way of doing things.
Well, apply the whole idea of this panel of scientists from all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who was the person I was talking about?
Galileo?
No,
I'm
no,
not sure
no.
what do you mean.
He was in a wheelchair, and
Oh, Stephen Hawking's
yeah,
the
he was
pedophile.
actually one of the
Yeah.
one of the advisors.
Yes.
Why'd you throw the pedophile when we're
No,
talking
I'm
science?
I'm just joking because we were talking about he had some associations with Epstein and stuff. It doesn't matter. It has nothing to
Okay.
do with his science, but
Anyway, so the church has tried to turn around its kind of sordid past when it comes to science, that we're going to leave the door open to possibilities. But what we know right now, this is what we are going to say. But we're leaving it open to possibilities because the scientific board that comes together to advise the Pope on future revelations of science, new things can be discovered that we never knew before.
okay, guys. So I'm just gonna keep going, Dad, because so we don't get too caught up in this. All right, guys, let's continue.
When I was in
Mithril says science has never been wrong. CR Mithril. Of course, science has been wrong, but science does not claim that. That's the whole point of science, is to constantly improve itself. It does not claim that it is the infinite source of like moral authority, and that it can't be wrong, and that your morality is dependent upon it, and things like that. If that makes sense, okay. So yeah.
college, I sat in one of my friend's classes, and JP Moreland was the professor, and he taught his class something interesting. And he stated that the origin of the universe is outside the realm of science. And the reason why is because science is based on the scientific method,
Yes.
or in other words, it relies solely on us making observations of the world around us. So due to the fact that time, space, and matter all began at a
Observations and experimentation. Okay.
single point in time, a point in time that no one can go back and observe, science then cannot answer the question of how the universe began. So Moreland, the professor, then asserted that the question of how the universe began should actually be answered in the realm of philosophy, not science. And I thought that was interesting.
Wait, I'm
For me
sorry, I
personally,
missed it. What do you
be
say?
answered in the realm of philosophy.
What should
not
be answered in the realm of
science.
philosophy?
Question
How
of
the-
how the universe began.
Yeah, how
So
it
Moreland,
began,
the
'cause we can't
professor,
explain it
then
yet.
asserted that
Oh, I
the
got you.
question of how the universe began should actually be answered in the realm of philosophy,
Okay.
not science.
I mean,
Okay, what I'm going to say here, you should say theory, because philosophy is bringing in ideas that it's very hard to prove. All men are created equal. Well, equal in what? Does that? Can you really prove that? That's philosophy. And by the way, yeah, I do believe that. Okay, but as the tools of science get bigger and bigger and more precise, and also too, science builds upon the past. There's some stuff today that we know are facts that in the past they were wrong on. Okay, for instance, Ptolemy.
yeah.
the
I'm sorry,
Ptol-
Dad, what point are you making?
I'm making the fact that
What about science?
that it doesn't mean we'll never find out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we build on it step by step by step, and
Is that-
we're
oh.
getting closer and closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
now, if he wants to say philosophy, I might agree with him. I think it's more scientific theory.
Yes.
In the realm of philosophy, not science. And I thought that was interesting. For me personally, if someone were to tell me, you're just turning off your mind and crediting the unknown to God, I'd respond, I'm not turning off my mind. I just think that a higher power that is greater than time, space, and matter can only be responsible for creating the universe that we observe today. Do you have a better explanation on why everything exists today? Because if you do, then I'd love to listen and I'm willing to learn.
That is so passive aggressive, because he knows that even the scientists in the world don't have a full answer to that question. So that's so passive aggressive. But if you have something better to say, I will listen to you. Okay. Yeah. Because he knows that there isn't any, that's still something we're looking at. So it's not like anyone can make a fully 100% correct argument. You see what I mean?
So if you're watching this and you're someone who does not believe in God, I challenge you and ask, how do you think we all came to exist? Because I think there needs to be some explanation on why we all exist, and I think that God creating everything seems the most likely and logical.
Yeah.
And if you're a Christian
Yeah, and guys, that whole idea that, oh, well, you can just, I just happen to think that there has to be an explanation. Okay, why though? What evidence is there? Like, okay.
and you're wondering how to use this argument in a conversation, you can simply ask people, where do you think we all came from? And how do you think the universe began? Because it did not just pop into existence, something or someone needed to have caused it. And if they argue and say, well, how do we know that? Things can just pop into existence, and that might be the case for the universe. To that, I'd probably say that we don't observe things popping in and out of existence freely in our day-to-day lives. So if that's the case, there needs to be a cause for the existence of our universe. And should people ask, well, who created God then? To help with that question, you can watch our video titled, Who Created God?
Of course.
Argument number 2.
All right,
the
here we
design
go.
argument. This
Oh,
argument
good God, here we go. I know this is going to be the design argument, dear God.
Intelligent design.
Yeah, probably. Okay, I am not Unreal. You are not covering Epstein. You are clearly based out of Langley. Hilarious. I am not Unreal. Okay, but if you're curious, though, if you want to see, we actually talked about it yesterday. Go back and watch that video because, dear God, trust me, we covered it, and we're going to be covering it more tomorrow. But this is my day off, so we're doing some fun stuff or some stuff I want to do.
It is also
having a
known as the
blast.
teleological
Yes.
argument. And in the same way that I skipped explaining the premises for the creation argument, I'll also skip that here. Because the goal for this video isn't to prepare debaters, but to help Christians understand these arguments so that they can better be used in a conversation. So this argument pretty much states that complex and intelligent design must come from an intelligent mind.
Wait a minute, guys. Did he just say, "Oh, I know that this stuff isn't good for debating with. This is just to make sure Christians actually believe in God and things like that." Okay, well, at least he's admitting it. He knows
Have an argument.
yeah, at least he knows that they're bad arguments that can't be debated with. So only people who already believe it should listen to these. Okay.
Isn't to prepare debaters,
Yeah.
but to help Christians understand these arguments so that they can better be used in a conversation. So this argument pretty much states that complex and intelligent design must come from an intelligent mind or designer. So let's look at the complexity of people.
I know Godspeed.
And I cover this in our Is There Really a God video. And in it, I talk about how within a single person, they have a cardiovascular system, an endocrine system, a digestive, respiratory, excretory, lymphatic, nervous, muscular, and skeletal system. And on top of that, according to the National Institute of General Medical Sciences, the DNA from one of our cells is 6 feet long. So if we were to uncoil all of the DNA from all of our cells, it would amount to being 67 billion miles long.
I know,
And to give you a
possible.
better idea of that length, we could take 150,000 round trips to the moon.
Okay, what's his point?
With that much
Right, Dad?
DNA,
What's his point?
and that's
know.
just the DNA of one person.
Okay, I
So
think
the
what he's
design
trying
argument
to,
would suggest
what he's saying is that that just doesn't come along and out of nowhere. That somebody had to sit back and do that. Now, I will admit, I've always wondered myself, and as you know from my son, I am Christian. But one of the things I always thought about was, why would God make life so complicated
Right, Lemira.
if God created everything and everything was good and perfect? I mean, why do we have so much chromosomes? I mean, if he wanted to say, or God wanted to say, because God's neither he nor she, if God wanted to create,
How do you know that? Sorry, go ahead. I'm just being a dick.
Uh, it if he wanted to create human beings, why didn't he just say, "I'm going to create a human being"? Imagine it. Boom. Did he sit back and going, okay, with his, with a cigar and a little shot of whiskey and going, how will I do this so it'll be so complicated? I mean, if God would have said, "I'm going to create DNA," what the hell's DNA? And so, it's one of those things that when I hear some of this stuff, I'm thinking, what? What? And that also means God created diseases. God created the different problems that are within our genetic makeup. I mean,
Yeah.
why would God do that?
Hello, Finn. Yeah, because it wasn't made by God. None of it was. As a matter of fact, the human body is all kinds of fucked up, folks. Why do men have nipples? Someone explain this to me. Why do I have
comment.
nipples? Why am I deformed and I have nipples? Right? I mean, I'm sure I can guess at least one reason why we might have nipples. But why do we have tailbones? Literally, we have this useless little bone called a coccyx in our backs that is from when we used to have a tail. They're
It's actually
useless.
a little longer
Um,
in developing fetuses.
yep, it
And it gets
is.
smaller
Okay,
as time goes by.
right. Okay. Uh, okay. Yeah, absolutely SoCal, but then why exactly my point, SoCal? I'm SoCal. Oh my God, look, SoCal doing the whole well, yes, SoCal, I know. That's the point. Why would we need to develop in a way where we have nipples? That's an imperfect part of it's a useless thing. Okay. Um, all right. You see, none of these all right. You see what I mean? Okay, let's continue.
That a person is too complex, and evolution could not have been the reason why people exist,
Yeah, it is.
regardless of
Could.
how many billions of years occur.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For
okay.
example, it would be nonsense to think that a laptop in a forest got there by evolution. Because even if all the necessary parts of a laptop were in an
What?
area, and that area was untouched,
not a living
and
thing.
nature just
What? I'm
had its way
confused.
for billions of years, a working laptop would not be the result. Yet many people who believe in evolution
I don't get it though. Yeah, what is that? That doesn't
Talk
make any
about an
sense.
inanimate
A
object.
laptop is an inanimate, exactly. All right.
use this line of reasoning for people, and they'll suggest that the building blocks for people were in an area, and over time, an organism formed, and from that, it kept evolving until we got to people.
Yeah.
And I do want to add
That's
that
exactly
I do find a
true.
lot of credibility in evolution within a species. Like Darwin's finches, for example. Finches do evolve over time, but they don't become anything other than birds. And we do have wolves.
Oh my God, he's such an idiot. That is not how speciation works.
No, it isn't.
We have not. Dad, what was the date? Could someone tell me what was the date when Darwin did his journey? The 1880s, 90s, 1860s, 70s. I don't remember. But there has not nearly enough time has gone by for there to have been speciation of these birds. It takes a long time for a species to speciate. I mean, for a new species to come about after a series of small changes.
Mutations,
Okay.
actually.
Yeah, small changes, over time in the species, right? So, all right.
Also, too,
all
a
right.
lot of people misunderstand Darwin's teaching too. They always pull
Mhm.
out things that, it's like, no, he didn't say that, or what made you think he said that?
Yeah.
So be careful when it comes to people talking about Darwin.
And you know what's also funny, Dad, is that the finch example, we should go back a million years or so, or several million years, and then see what those finches looked like then. Because I can guarantee you, they probably were like dinosaurs or some shit. Okay, I know I don't know the exact number
Oh.
of years ago that dinosaurs were, but you get my point, right? So if we were to go through a longer period of time, we could definitely see that the finches weren't okay.
Okay, you don't have to go through a longer
Yeah.
period of time. You ever hear of Chernobyl? Well, there's a no-live zone there, as long as you're not a Russian soldier being posted nearby. And scientists have gone on in periodically, actually
Well-
frequently.
Okay.
And they have discovered that there's a lot of animals that still live there. And not just wild animals, but animals that originally were domesticated. And they've tested them and stuff and found out they have gone through a fair amount of DNA change and different adaptations within our lifetime, my lifetime anyway. And so it can also be quicker, depends upon the environment in some cases. They were exposed to a lot of radiation, which should have killed them, and it's still there, but it didn't. And it changed. And you might go, well, there's no Chernobyl here when human beings. Well, you ever heard about sometimes how the sun suddenly erupts and sends solar radiation of different types, and sometimes it's so strong it penetrates Earth?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is a possibility.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's it. I'm just that part was off the top of my head, but it can also happen quicker.
All right. Let's go.
That mate with lesser violent canines. And evolution can create a bunch of different types of dogs. However, they stay dogs. It's evolution that
Oh my
turns
God, so
species
stupid.
into other species, like fishes turning into birds and birds turning into dogs, that I would disagree with. And the reason why is because in our fossil record, I don't recall seeing much of any transitional species.
Okay, guys, have
Oh,
you seen this is
that's-
bullshit. Have you guys seen, first of all, bullshit. There's tons of fossils showing a transition over time. Okay. Have you guys seen the let me find it real fast. If you, this is really, this is like one of my favorite things from Futurama. This is exactly what this guy is doing, okay? The whole, well, what links this species to this species? Well, what links
I'm
this
not gonna
species?
lie.
Let me find
I
it here,
use
okay?
Grammarly every time I write. It helps.
You guys will appreciate this. All right, so this is exactly what he's doing. Futurama, Futurama, evolution, humans. Okay. Here it is. Okay, watch this. This is exactly what this guy is doing.
Oh, I remember this.
Your elitist East Coast evolution is real. Why has no one found the missing link between modern humans and ancient apes?
You guys
We
will love
did
it.
find it. It's called Homo erectus.
Then you have proven my case, sir. For no one has found the link between apes and this Homo erectus.
Yes, they have. It's called Homo habilis.
Aha! But no one has found the missing link between ape and the so-called Homo habilis.
Yes, they have. It's called Australopithecus africanus.
Oh, I've got you now.
Lucy.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. But where, then, is the missing link between apes and this Darwinius Massili? Answer me that, Professor.
Okay, you get the idea. Like, we could do this forever. We have, like, you can always say, well, where's the link? Well, obviously, we can't see the damn thing evolving, right? So, okay. We can obviously, all right. So that's what he's doing is like, well, I don't see the missing link. Like, no matter how many links we have, they will still say, well, I don't see the missing link. All right? Okay. I know. I'm sorry, Loiso. I'm sorry. Welcome, Loiso. How dare you come in here and be brutal and be rude to me? How dare you? Okay, here we go.
Is that we're in the middle of evolving.
I applaud you.
So going back to the argument of design, complex and intelligent design requires a complex designer. So when you look at the
Oh my God,
complexity
no, it
of
doesn't.
people and all that makes up a single person, this kind of complexity had to have come from some higher power.
No, it
So if
didn't.
you're someone that doesn't believe in God and you think that evolution makes more sense and that people did evolve, I would challenge you to think of a time
Yes.
when life can come from non-life. Or in other words, if evolution did start everything and the
They've
world
done that.
started with a bunch of non-living things that people ultimately evolved from, can
Yeah.
you think of another time when life was able to emerge from something that wasn't alive? Because if that's not the case,
Jesus Christ.
then where did life begin? You could say you just don't know.
Literally, okay.
In some labs, and this is, to me, this is old knowledge, but within my lifetime, they've been able to take a, what I want to say, a puddle, or I'm using, I'm using examples here, and I don't mean a real puddle, but a soup of various things that they think were part of the beginning of life, and do experiments on it. And quite often there's electricity involved. And they're able to do a little spark that brought about suddenly that soup of inanimacy showed life.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking microscopic, but that actually has happened.
I actually didn't know about that. But like, yeah, abiogenesis is different from evolution too. The fact that he said, you know, evolution started everything. No, abiogenesis started everything, and then it kicked off an evolutionary thing, right? Like, okay. All right. I'm just gonna lose my mind.
But I think that the most logical explanation is life coming from some originator of life. And I would call this originator of life God.
Also, guys, let's say that it's true that something created life, right? So let me just, you know, I'm gonna side with him just for a second for theoretical. Let's say that something started life. Why did that thing have to be a god? Who says it wasn't an alien species? And who says it wasn't, like, as the argument goes, a giant spaghetti monster living on the other side of the moon? Like, if something created
Spaghetti.
life, right? We could say anything created life because there's no evidence of what would have done it. You see what I mean? So, like, it just doesn't even make sense. Clearly, obviously, nothing created life. But if something had, why does it have to be the God, the Christian God, or the Muslim God, or Thor, or whoever the hell else you want to name? Okay,
By the
Okay.
way, it was Odin or Woden.
Yeah,
or
Odin, Woden, whatever the hell.
not
Okay.
Thor.
I don't know. Who
Get your
cares?
Norse gods straight.
You know, it
my
doesn't matter.
God.
But like whoever it was, right? They're all bullshit, right? And this is why I'm always saying, folks. This is why I'm always saying, what people should do who aren't atheist is realize that they're already atheist for 99.9% of all the gods that have lived. You just gotta add one more to that mix, right? Just add one more to that mix, and then you become a full atheist. Okay.
And if you're a Christian and you're wondering how you can use this argument in a conversation, I would encourage you to ask a lot of questions on what someone believes regarding the complexity of life. And I'd say something along the lines of, people are incredibly complex. Where do you think we came from, and how do you think life started? In my personal podcast, Practical Christianity, I interviewed my friend who works as a chemist, and I asked him what his view on evolution was. And he told me that as a chemist, he works hard to make sure that the chemicals he creates all have the correct measurements. So if his chemicals and complex compounds that he makes all require intelligence, he thinks that since the world and people have so much more complexity than the chemicals he makes, it only makes sense that a mind of greater intelligence is responsible for creating it. And argument number 3.
Okay,
the
last
moral
one.
argument.
The
This
oh,
argument
God, okay, I can hate this. The moral argument.
pretty much states that because people have universal laws that they all abide by, it's evidence of God, because he had to give people these laws. To explain it more, murdering babies, purposefully polluting water reservoirs, and other crimes like rape are wrong. And while that seems obvious that
Not
they're wrong,
always.
No, and also like Dad, I'm sure you would agree. Like what he said, like killing babies, like how is that defined too? Like different people view it differently. Like how is murder defined? Okay, well, we'll continue here, right?
question is, why do we think they're wrong? The moral argument suggests that these moral laws can't develop from a purely biological world, and that these morals need to come from a higher power or God.
Forgive
and the
me,
reason
virtual
why
violence.
is because if there was no God and we were purely biological beings, then we'd be no different than animals. Because lions can kill gazelles, and dogs can go have sex with other dogs without their consent, but lions don't murder gazelles, and dogs don't rape other dogs. They're just acting like animals.
Okay, so guys, here's the thing, guys, right? I've said this before. I've told you all before that I don't really believe in free will. Human beings are animals. We do a lot of actions based off instinct. Most people's actions are based off their genetics, their what they've been taught to do, the environments they live in, and things like that. So yeah, this is why I think that the idea of free will is largely a religious argument that has been passed down through the generations to make humans appear to be special compared to other animals, because we never say that animals make decisions. We always are like, oh, well, that's just, they're an animal. They are not making a decision. Okay. And now he's basically saying, like, he's making that argument. He's saying, well, human beings are special because they can make decisions, make moral decisions and things like that. Okay. Well, is that true? Okay. So, all right.
So to really think about this argument,
Yeah, and you're right, Macon. I didn't talk about that, Macon, but yeah, there are some indications that there are sort of morals and ideas of altruism amongst non-human primates, for example. So this isn't only it isn't only humans that exhibit these traits. There's nothing special about humans in that way. All right.
need to consider why we as people think that things are wrong. Because if we truly did believe that our world was purely biological, then we couldn't say that what Hitler did was wrong. And according to the Holocaust Encyclopedia, Nazi Germany did not just kill Jewish people. They also killed black people, gay men, people with disabilities, and their political opponents. So think about this.
Good point.
If morals were not given to us by God, then the rules we have as a society would be subjective. Meaning, what's wrong for me may not be wrong for other people, and we could then respectfully disagree. But this moral argument suggests that there are things that we can't respectfully disagree with. Like, we can't respectfully disagree with Hitler. What he did was morally wrong. But if we lived in a purely biological world, I'd argue that we couldn't say that he was wrong, because he was just doing what was right for him.
Okay, well, that's a leap to make. It can be the case, guys, that different people have different morals, and that doesn't mean that that still means there's morals, and you can still say what someone else did is wrong based off your moral code, right? That doesn't. He's doing a straw man thing. He's creating an argument that no one has made. Okay.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say something.
this
Yep.
whole idea of morals, they have developed. Matter of fact, historians have actually traced some of this. That morals developed partly to originally defend the family unit. Now, before you go, oh, the family. Well, hang on here. When we were hunters and gatherers,
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
You needed to have a set of beliefs or morals to help your family survive. You don't do this to the family. You don't do this. And as civilization started to settle down and become a mixture of hunter-gatherers and farmers, the morals expand. The what you do and don't do. It's from experience that happened. I mean, once again, Hammurabi's Code, the first known, I believe it is the first known law code written down. If you look at each one of those, it developed out of because Mesopotamia had become a large area of people, Tigris, Euphrates, rivers that had formed this settled civilization, and they needed something to make it work. Now, we may agree with what they thought. We may disagree with what they thought could make it work, because some of the rules are pretty brutal. The reality is they based it off, how can we make this work in our community for the most part?
And I actually agree with him that I do think morals are largely subjective. Does that mean that? But I think a lot of ideas of morality are innate to humans. I think they are evolved. We have a sense of altruism and empathy and things like that. Okay, like there's certain things that are universal to human societies, and if you want to say then that God gave people morals, well, why then does everyone worship different gods? If they all worship different gods or groups of gods and yet still have similar ideas of morality, maybe that's just innate to human beings. And it's a survival mechanism and how you live in groups, etc. Okay. All right, let's continue.
And people could argue that
Almost done with
objective
this.
moral values could emerge from a society, but if objective moral values did begin within a society, how would we know which moral values to defend? Because different moral values could technically arise that contradict other ones.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
So how do we know rape is wrong? And if it is wrong, then how do we know it should
Guys,
stay
question.
wrong?
This is
I
something.
don't think
This is an argument I can't stand. Who here now? Okay, please don't. I have personally never been close to murdering someone or sexually assaulting someone. It's not something I have really ever been like, oh my God, you know what? The only reason I'm not going to murder someone or not going to sexually assault them is because a God told me I shouldn't do it. You see what I mean? I don't like the idea here that like you need to have a God to know what's right and wrong. It's very dehumanizing to people, right? It implies that all of us are just going around wanting to kill and sexually assault and do other horrible things to people. Okay?
And I want to point out too, wow, throughout time, since there's been Christians, since you're talking about a God here, morals for Christians have changed dramatically from way back when to modern day. And a lot of those morals aren't based upon Jesus' street teachings, which if you're a Christian, that means you believe Jesus, okay? And over time, the religious people's morals have changed. What? My neighbor's pigs were killed? They just dropped dead after Goody Smith walked by. Goody is what they call the women who are married. After she walked by, pardon me?
I was just saying thank you to Matt Saigai because he just sent money. Yep.
After they walked by, and the moral at the time was you gotta find out or take that woman who did that, like Rebecca Nurse, and make sure that she is a witch, follower of Satan, which, excuse me.
Hail Satan.
And so the point is that They actually believe that. They actually hung people up in the Massachusetts Bay Colony for it. They imprisoned people, where a lot of them died. They crushed one person to death. Let's go to England. My God, in France, burning them because the moral idea was it to purify. That's where the term, one of the terms, one of the reasons why Puritans got Puritans. One of the reasons. You got to purify life on earth. You got to get rid of these impurities, and killing them is the way to do it, or locking them away with iron chains because demons hate iron. Seriously, they believe that. So where did that moral come from? If morals come from God, that's a wacky God.
Yes.
I mean, it's
100%.
like, well, the people were just stupid. Excuse me, if God can create everything, all complicated things, and dogs just do what they do. Well, if God instilled morals in us also, why don't we do what we're meant to do? Why do we do other things? I mean, God must have failed on that front.
Matt Saigai, thank you very much. I couldn't say because my dad was talking, but thank you, Matt Saigai, for all the donations there. We got, as always, Matt Saigai, thank you, really. We got here some other mentions. Let me just see what these words here are. Arshan Mahmud, hello. If it's purely a scam, prophets wouldn't die fighting the elites. Divine authority often serves as the only shield strong enough to stop real predators. Arshan, so I see what you're saying, but at the same time, Arshan, wouldn't you also say that religiosity, like religious leaders, also are able to do a lot more predating of other people and like assaulting of other people and abusing other people because of their position, right? So doesn't it sound like more of a human thing? Like sometimes these so-called prophets uh, use their their power in society to abuse other people. Other times they may use it to revolt or whatever. Arshan, well, that was also the case way back when as well. Like a lot of times, different prophets and things like that were also very abusive. Um, like I think it's not necessarily that the religion or being a prophet makes you a better person. If you're a good person and you're a prophet, you might do some good things. If you're a bad person and you're a prophet, you might do some bad things, right? But we could debate that.
Also, too, I just also want to bring up that I don't remember what I was going to say. I'm old. Okay, never mind.
Okay, we're going to speed it up a bit, guys. Here we go.
Idea of objective moral values developing within a society answers this question. So all that to say, the moral argument states that because we have moral values that all our societies hold, values such as not murdering and raping people, it's indicative of some higher being giving us those values. So if you don't believe in God, I would challenge you to think of where your conscience came from. Like, you have a sense of right and wrong. So where did that come from? And why is it that humans are different from animals, and why can't we just kill and have sex with whoever we want to? Because I think that the best explanation for why we have this innate sense of right and wrong is because God put inside all of us a conscience that sees and holds universal and moral laws. And if you're a Christian and you want to use this argument in a conversation, I would encourage you to ask questions like, where do you think we got our sense of right and wrong? And do you think what Hitler did was wrong? And why do you think that? And do you think it's possible that we got our sense of right and wrong from God? And if not, why do you think that? And how did you come to that conclusion? Okay? So if you're wondering if God does exist, I would encourage you.
Mithril, exactly my point. Mithril says people who are predicated to be, sexual abusers tend to seek positions of power. Exactly, Mithril. And that's why I'm saying it's a human thing. So if you already are not a good person, you might use a position as a religious leader to do bad things to people, right? Okay. So,
I mean, that to me that smacks of going back in time where, I'm a religious person. I really, really believe in God, and God speaks to me and told me that it was okay to do this. Okay to do, like maybe burn that witch. It's, excuse me, God told you it's okay. So now we have God being blamed for things. It's kind of like this whole idea of of mass shootings in the United States. What do a lot of people do when that happens? Oh, we prayers and thoughts go out to you. We have the intelligence and the abilities to stop this. But do we use what we have to do that? No, we'd rather put it on God. So the second issue is we tend to use God as a scapegoat. And that's one of those issues. And a lot of the stuff that people use, and I don't care, whether you're Muslim or Christian, Hindu, we tend to dump a lot of crap on our gods.
Now, I will say, though, you can basically justify most beliefs by reading the Bible. So if I think that that's one of the issues, though, with religion is that the Bible does contain a bunch of very immoral things that God says is okay. So, like for example, like he says do genocide in the Bible. He commands the Israelites to kill a bunch of people. So that's the problem, though, I think, with holy books and with trying to derive morality based off God. You can find if you want to be a good person, you can find reasons to be a good person in the Bible. If you want to be a bad person, you can find reasons to be a bad person in the Bible. You see what I mean? Which makes it a useless thing for deriving morality from. Why would you derive morality from a book that can justify any sort of morality if you want, depending on your point of view? I think that's a big issue.
And that, to me, that crosses all lines. I know my son's talking Bible, but I know in Islam,
yeah, any
there's
holy
different
book,
schools.
any holy book.
There's different schools of thought. Matter of fact, before the Seljuk Turks came along and created their empire, the Turkish Empire, I'm sorry, not Seljuk Turks, the Ottoman Turks created the Ottoman Empire. There were different schools of thought in Islam, going anywhere from what we would say today, liberal to conservative, but they were all together debating and different people learning.
Which is,
The Ottoman Turks came along and said, nope, and they turned toward mostly a very conservative thing. So I guess my question today would be, and it goes in line with that. I know I've been talking Christians here, but let's go to Iran.
Okay, Dad. So let's not go down this route because I'm just saying we're talking about religion generally, right?
Right.
So we would agree then. So your point, what you're saying is true. Then isn't the same is true about Christianity though?
That's
Yes.
what I said.
Okay. So we agree then that overall religions in general are not necessarily good. Any religion, any main big religion, not exactly a good source of strong morality, given that anyone can interpret it however they want, and you can derive whatever you want out of it. And I suspect that most people that are Christians or Muslims or whatever, they already have a sense of morality, and then they follow that part of their religion that they agree with.
I was about ready to say that before you cut me off.
Right? Okay. So
I mean, there are a lot of people in Iran that believe that what the state tells them, the state's a theocracy, isn't right. It isn't moral. How you treat the women, how you treat this, that, and the other. And a lot of them are Muslim. So we have two different entities there who believe that what they say is, comes from Allah. And so then I agree with Sam that they use religion or their deity as a scapegoat.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, this is where we disagree. I don't view it as scapegoating. It does say it in the holy books. It's like in the Bible, there are times where God orders genocide or talks about. So my point is that's not scapegoating. That's literally it says it. Therefore, you can pick and choose whatever you want. It's not a good source for anything.
And I've said this before. When it comes to Christianity, if you call yourself a Christian, that means you follow Jesus' teachings. If you don't, you're not a Christian.
Okay, so you should ignore the Old Testament.
Yes.
The whole Old Testament. Just ignore it.
Yes.
Okay.
You read it for the sake of understanding the past and the history. And then Jesus even said, I didn't come to get rid of the old way. I came to establish a new way.
He also said that me coming does not at all overturn anything in the old word.
No, he didn't say
Yes,
that.
he did. He did. He said, okay. He said, he like, he said that the old laws are still in place. I can even look it up. He said both of those things, and that's my point.
Not the way you said it. It was more
I know, no,
open.
I know. I don't know the exact quote.
And
See
he
here.
also contradicts things. Like he says,
Exactly.
you've heard, no, wait a minute. He says, you've heard of an eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. However, I say, love your brother as you love yourself. He changed. That's a big change from the Old Testament.
Okay.
He's cleaning up the mess.
Jesus affirmed the authority of the Old Testament, stating he came not to abolish, but to fulfill them. Okay. And then later on, trying to find these. That was the where he says it. Jesus says, "Don't listen to it."
No. Okay, that's.
But this is my point.
He
Dad.
said, "I came to establish the new." If you read the
Yeah, no, I know. That's what we're finding here. Don't listen to the Old Testament. He also said, okay. He said he's not coming. Okay, well, I actually can't find where he says the other one.
See,
So if anything, he just said,
he came to fulfill the law.
yes,
Is what he says, and the law is in the Old Testament.
right.
But if we go with our arguments, because we're basically saying something similar, well, the law or the Old Testament is full of stories where the people disobeyed God, where the people misinterpreted God, because there are a lot of things in the Old Testament where people don't see God as the God of the Old Testament. And so people corrupted it. And I think the Old Testament has something to do with it. Some of the epistles also have it.
Okay.
And where Jesus is saying, I came to fulfill the law, the original law, not what everybody else said back then.
Okay, so I disagree. I mean, I don't know what how do we know what's the original law? Like
That's why I'm saying, if you call yourself Christian, that means you follow the teachings of Jesus.
but he says follow the original law. And what's the original law? See, it doesn't make sense.
Because the law, I am fulfilling the law, capital L. The reason for everybody being here, the creation. You have corrupted the law. That you say is the law, but that's not the capital L law.
All right.
Okay.
So what is, again, though, then what is the capital L law?
That's what Jesus is teaching.
Okay. Right. Okay, guys. So let's go on here. We're almost done with this video.
To consider these three arguments: the creation argument, the design argument, and the moral argument. Now, I should mention that these arguments do not argue the existence of the Christian God. I'll actually cover those arguments in another video. But if anything,
Really, Meowsword?
these arguments
Okay.
provide a good start when it comes to conversing with people about the possibility of God's existence. Most of the time when I talk to people about God, I found that most people do believe in some type of God. And if that's the case, I'll jump into specific arguments that support Christianity. But if they don't believe in a God, then I'll cover one or all three of these arguments. And honestly,
Why?
these arguments should not
See,
be
he's admitting that he can't make the argument with people who don't believe. I love that.
used to prove people wrong, but to start a discussion on what they believe. And most of the time, if you're humble and kind, people will listen to you and respectfully disagree. So all that to say, if you do end up using these arguments, I would encourage you to use them in humility and in love. And if you don't believe in God,
That's something, guys, I hate about a lot of Christians is this like them talking down to you and then claiming it's love. Like, I don't hate the sin, I hate the sinner. Or, I mean, I hate, I'm sorry, don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. And like things like that. Like, oh, I don't care that you're gay. I just don't want you to sin and I want you to find Jesus. It's like, okay, thank you. Thank you, creeper. All right.
please know that my heart in writing this video is for you to see that there is some thought on why Christians can believe in a higher power. And whether you believe in him or not, I want you to know that Jesus loves you.
Okay, now
God.
I want to go back to the original thing of this, talking about
All right.
talking about creation.
Yep.
Okay, there are a lot of people out there who profess to be Christians that believe in the Big Bang Theory, that believe in evolution. They do. So, he's implying that all Christians don't believe any of that stuff. No, that's not right.
At the same time, people will make the argument that, well, since there are Christians who are biologists or whatever, that must be that. Look, it can be true that there's a God. That doesn't prove anything, by the way. All right. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go get some more coffee. I'll be right back. My dad will chat with you in the meantime, if you don't mind, Dad. Okay, if you want to chat in the meantime. So that was fun, right, guys? That was fun. I love that. We I
God ordained it so, and thus it happened.
yeah, okay, I guess so.
So we did listen to God.
All right. Give me a second here, guys. Okay, I'll be right back. My dad will stay here for a second. I'll be right back, and we'll do some other stuff. We'll do some other fun stuff. Okay. Okay. Let me see here, guys. I know I may have missed some comments here. I was too busy talking here. Okay. Mithril says CR's doing the smug atheist bit. Well done, Papa CR, for fighting your corner. All right. Okay. Thank you, Mithril, I guess. All right.
I'm inspired by God.
That's disgusting.
I speak for him.
Yeah, well, possibly.
I'm questioning what God wants me to do with my son.
Let's see here. Yeah, right. I thought so, Mad Side Guy. Let's see here. What do you think about Nietzsche, the morality? So I actually like Nietzsche. Now, I will say there are issues with Nietzsche, but I actually did a presentation on Nietzsche once because a lot of people misunderstand what he's saying. I'm not a big fan of his idea, his judging certain kinds of people, but he has some good ideas about how God is dead and therefore we need to make our own morality, and stuff like that. Okay. All right. I'll be right back, folks. I'm gonna get some more coffee. Dad, you can chat.
And about Nietzsche, I call him Nietzsche. What's the proper?
I don't know. I say Nietzsche. I don't think it really matters, honestly.
Okay, Nietzsche. I hate how people have corrupted him. I mean, he talks about, what have you done to help bring about the full potential of human beings, the Superman, so to speak. And I don't mean Superman wearing a tights and a cape with a big old S on it, but he kind of partly argues we have it in us. What have you done to achieve that? I like that part because that's basically what I say sometimes is we have all of this ability, but we like to dump our failures on God. Yeah, we can do X, Y, Z, but instead of agreeing and coming together to do it, first of all, it's probably going to be difficult. Number two, you also have different people then use God going, I have a God-given right to own a gun in the U.S. And they do say that. It's like, where have you read that one? And so what happens, we then tend to, instead of trying to work it out using our intellect, we turn and blame it on God. Well, I have a God-given right. They're throwing it at God. Because of God, that's why I own a gun. God told me to kill that person because they're bad. Excuse me. Or, we can't solve mass shootings. So we'll pray and send thoughts to you. That's putting it on God as soon as you say we'll pray. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Uh-oh, the beast has returned.
All right.
How many horns are on that hat?
Oh, God, 4. I think it's like 4 of them. All right, guys. Let's see what else we got to react to here. Okay, let's see what we got.
And by the way, I want to clarify something. If you really can't do any physical thing to actually help because you just
Thank you,
can't,
Dolly Boy.
there are other ways to help. And if it helps you to sit back and pray, meditate, whatever you want to call it, that's okay. If that's all that you can do. I want to point that out too.
Meowser, I have that saved. We'll probably watch that next, okay?
What?
We'll see what else I have. I have a bunch of reaction things lined up to look at. Yeah, no, I am a real. He does. I am not unreal. I agree. There is definitely in Nietzsche some contempt for like the average person.
Yeah.
There's this idea. He has this almost sense of nobility versus like lower down. Yep. Not a fan of that. There is some of his philosophical ideas though that I think are good. But you're totally right. I am not unreal. There's a kind of condescension in Nietzsche that is really unpleasant. and opens the door for people like fascists to use it.
Yep.
Which is not what he believed, but yeah, I agree.
Sounds like the Old Testament to me.
Okay.
There's some good stuff, and then there's stuff that's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And people use the bad stuff more often.
Okay, so let's see here. We got here, folks.
And social decline.
All right. Yes, Matt Sagai, what's up? Where to go? Here we go. Let's watch this. So this is a he died in the house so much. That's funny. That's a good point. I am not unreal. He died in the Alps of an opium overdose. So much for higher morality through strength. Correct. Okay.
He wanted to see the face of God.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So here we go. We have. Thank you, Matt Saigai. We're not going to. I'm not going to watch that right now, Matt Saigai, but we're going to watch this real fast. I was going to watch this, guys. This is basically there was testimony on Capitol Hill. Oh, where'd my face go? Testimony on Capitol Hill from people who had what's the term? Who had been held by ICE. Let me remind myself. I've got to read it now. Yeah, victims of ICE and Border Patrol aggression testify. So they testified in front of Congress, and they just
victims.
Yes, and I haven't seen it. So I thought we could watch it real fast. Oh, really? Is that so? This was the woman who was shot 5 times, and they said, "Do something, bitch." Okay, good. We'll take a look at this, right? We will take a look at this, right? Everyone excited? Everyone excited? Ready for this, Dad?
No, I'm not excited because it should never have happened. But anyway, go
Correct,
ahead.
Dad, but I'm a jester. We got to be sarcastic, right? Got to be sarcastic. Come on, Dad. Come on. You got to play the bit. You got to play the bit. Okay,
Makes
I'm just
me
kidding.
angry.
I know. I'm just joking. You can be angry if you want. Everyone ready? Let's go.
As I struggle every day with the physical pain and the suffering. I cannot close my hand yet to hold the pen.
Whoa!
I try to
Stop.
play with the children at my school.
She has an accent. She's not an American. Bad Bunny is not an American.
Oh my God.
Why are they letting her testify in front of an American institution?
Thank you. Yeah, Meowzo, you might want to clip that. Okay, I'm just kidding. All right.
I'm joking.
Yeah, we know you're joking. Okay, so, Loiso, no, of course it doesn't matter, Loiso. It does not matter at all. Loiso said, I just wonder if this whole Congress circus even matters at this point, given that the Dems. Oh, of course, it doesn't matter at all, Loiso. The only reason it matters is that I want to hear her testimony because she has some things to say. Will this hearing do anything? No, not at all. But at least it'll inform us what she went through. Okay.
School. And I am in a significant pain as I attempt to do things I was easily able to do before October 4. I attend weekly physical therapy sessions to work on these issues and hope one day I can move in the same way I was able to move prior to October 4.
It should, Meowsor, but it won't.
I know that what happened to me in the matter of seconds on October 4 will unfortunately be with me for a lifetime. The physical scars will always be there in the mornings and evenings when I get dressed and I stare at my body, now permanently disfigured by the 5 lead bullets Exxon fired into me. They will be there this summer when I head to the beach with my dogs and family.
Is that so, Meowsor? No Republicans went to this? Of course not.
They will be there when I get down on the floor with my students and work with them on their motor skills. And perhaps even worse, the mental scars will always be there as a reminder of the time my own government attempted to execute me. And when they fell, they chose to vilify me. I am Renee Good. I am Alex Preddy. I am Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. I am Keith Porter. They should all be here today. I know each of them would trade my bullet wounds and lifetime of mental distress and a heartbeat to be able to be back with their loved ones this afternoon. And we must also remember the countless other souls who lost their lives at the hands of these entrusted with authority. I know that by being a survivor, It is my duty to be here today to let you elected officials know what is happening on the streets of our country, because silence is no longer an option. This needs to stop now. Why do
I hate to say this, guys. It doesn't matter. No one's gonna.
Can I say something?
What? Well, let me finish. So that, like, the fact that there aren't more people out angry is like so infuriating to me. Like, we've gotten, we have, we're well beyond the point where everyone should be screaming about this. And there are some people screaming about it, and there are more and more people every time one of these things happen. Um, but like, I'm very frustrated. Okay. Because how many times are we going to hear people like her say these things before we do something? Yep. No, you're right, Jonas. You're right. Though, Jonas, I will say, like, the Alex Preddy stuff and the Renee Good stuff was all over the media. Like, it was everywhere. But there's just like people, there's a lot of structural reason. I've said this before, folks. There's a lot of structural issues in the US that make it hard for people to stand up and protest and do those things. But it's like,
Also,
I'm so tired.
Some people don't like what's going on, but they're so comfortable in their homes and stuff. Like, oh, I hate that. I hate that. But they don't want to get out and do it. Matter of fact, once again, I'm going to go back. The revolutionaries prior to the advent of the American Revolution, do you know the majority of the colonies didn't raise a finger to try to help them, to try to stop what was happening to them? They didn't. It was a minority. And most of those minority groups were in Massachusetts. So people just, I don't know, they have a sense of, I don't agree with what the government's doing, but what can I do about it? And I'm warm and comfortable in my home. It's, I don't know, I don't like it.
Well, I think, as I said before, folks, I think what will eventually inspire people is when people basically have no other choice. They have nothing less to lose. Nothing left to lose. That's when people will finally take action. A lot of times when in other prior revolutions, there was a sense of having nothing left to lose before a majority or a large people of the population finally did something about it. And in America, unfortunately, we have a lot of people who, we're a fairly wealthy country. There are a lot of folks who are doing pretty well materially. Now we're all struggling materially, but we have a lot of stuff,
Not
right?
all.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Not all.
Not all what?
Not all are struggling.
Oh, no, I know. But I'm just saying that's what my point here is. There's a lot of material stuff here. There's a lot of consumerism. There's a lot of stuff distracting us. There's a lot of media cover up, or at least media distraction. There's just so much distraction. And people are also numb because of how much shit has been happening.
See, I think too, part of it is that there's no person or small group of people that have stepped up to get others to take charge. I mean, you look at most revolutions, there's usually somebody very charismatic or something. The Democrats aren't. How many Democrats from Congress have you seen out there marching? How many times have you seen that? A handful have. How many times have Democrats stepped up and say, I don't care. You better reduce or change what ICE is doing, or I won't vote on that appropriations bill. You don't see that. You don't see it. You need somebody to show it.
As I said, folks, you need organization too during something like this. We need we need organization. We need people organized to act in concert and things like that. And I don't think the Democratic Party really has any solutions right now.
Nope.
Because they are so incompetent and corrupt. It's just so gross. Yeah, yep, you're right, Meowsword. Our culture is spineless and has no practice standing up on moral principles. Jesus wept. Now, I will say, Meowsword, I do partially disagree with that. Like, I think I don't want to judge at like the average American here. If people do reach a certain level of suffering, I think they would do something. But there are so many systems in place to make it hard. And guys, like, who the hell has time, for example, if you're working all the time, to like get involved in like a movement for change? Like, let's say you have a child and you go to work. Like, when are you going to find the time? You might not have, you don't want to lose your job if you get arrested, for example, at a protest. Like, there are all these systems in place that make it really hard. Yeah, no, I got you, Mauser. You're right. But okay.
You got to find something that you can do. I mean, once again, going back to the previous, before the American Revolution, there were people, merchants, who hated what the British were doing to them, what London was doing to them, and that led to the on one issue, they spoke up and spoke loudly by dumping all that tea into the harbor. I don't want to pay that tax on that tea. I don't want it to be forced on me. You have people like John Adams, who really was loud about it. He used his legal abilities as a lawyer to show things.
Now, TJ, I get where you're coming from. I do slightly disagree with you, TJ, and we can disagree on this. TJ says no one told the average American to not at least vote correctly. TJ, the majority of Americans didn't even vote. You have to understand, we have a system here where we are forced to choose between two parties, neither one which looks out for the interest of us. Okay. And so people had a choice. They could vote for Kamala Harris or they could vote for Donald Trump. And unfortunately, the Democratic Party refuses to offer anything significant in the way of change. So a lot of people have a lot of people. What's the inspiration for them to vote for Kamala Harris? Trump gives the illusion that he is trying to change the establishment. Okay, he gives that illusion. He doesn't. But he appears, he always was like, I'm going to drain the swamp. I'm going to go against the elites. He presented that as an option. It was not true.
He is an option.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we don't even get a day off to vote in this country. Like, there are so many barriers to people even voting anymore. The Republicans have put up tons of barriers. There's gerrymandering, which makes it so that, the Electoral College, it's not as simple as, I am not defending people who ended up voting for Trump. My point is, though, is that there are so many barriers. We're not a democracy, TJ. It doesn't honestly really matter. Like our votes don't really matter that much. I got to tell you, they don't. We have, and that's not to say people shouldn't go out and vote, but like, it's not a real democracy. I can guarantee you that, like, it's a big problem. And if you actually look at statistics and stuff, the majority of Americans, for example, don't support what Israel's doing in Gaza. The majority of Americans want universal health care coverage. We're never going to get it, though. Okay. We're never going to get it, though, because we don't actually have a say over our political system.
Also,
because either party we vote for doesn't want those things, and they're bribed.
Yes. And also, too, a little thing here. If you ever look at the statistics on the number of people, percentage of people that vote, most elections, and it gets worse as you go down to state elections and local elections, don't even bother to vote. And to tell them, you need to vote, that's, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, why, though? You see what I mean? Like, I know what you mean. Like, it's hard to convince people if there's nothing for them to vote for.
Right.
Right? Like, okay, I'm sorry, TJ, what do you mean? You said fair, but people should have had the same thoughts. What are you referring to there, TJ? So, TJ, this is my here's the thing, TJ. Like, I know I'm an American. I'm not saying this because I'm an American, but we shouldn't necessarily blame the working class Americans. They are massively suffering. Neither party works for them. There's tons of propaganda and things like that. And it's not like Americans are especially evil or bad people compared to the rest of the world. They're human beings. And there are so many horrific systems in place that make it, we don't have a democracy. Okay. We have a real democracy. It's an oligarchy. So I don't know. I just feel like, TJ, so in American history, right? Do you know what voting for a third party does historically? It empowers the party that you like the least. Every time there has been a third party run, that has taken away votes from one of the other two parties, which almost always results in the party that is the worst coming to power. Okay? It is not as easy, and you have to understand, these two parties basically have a monopoly over our entire system. It is not as easy as just voting for a third party. For example, TJ, what would happen if, let's say, the Green Party, which does exist in the US, if a bunch of people who originally voted Democrat started voting Green Party. What would happen is that that vote would then be split between the Democrats and the Greens, and we have a winner take all system. So who would take everything? The Republicans. So, like Jill Stein, for example, who was part of the Green Party, got a small percentage of all the votes, but a lot of votes, which took away votes from the Democrats, which then allowed the Republicans to take over. Like, it's a very difficult problem to solve. It's not as easy as just like vote for a third party. It's also the issue here is that third parties barely have a voice. They don't have the money that the other two parties have. They don't have the membership. They don't have the media access because everything is so corrupt. So, like, it's a big problem.
Now, I also want to point out there have been times where a third party has actually won, but we're not talking necessarily on the national level. You know, governorships and so forth. The Progressive Party back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. La Follette, I think, was one of them. And it just was one of those things that the people in that state got so fed up with what was going on was, you know, I'm voting for this guy because he's not a part of either party and won. Now, the bright spot is, I guess, what happened was that the other two established parties saw what was happening because it started happening a little bit more often. They became a little nervous and they started to embrace some of the reform that the progressives were embracing. And it kind of shocked a lot of people. But then what did that cause? It caused the Progressive Party suddenly to lose power and you're left with the two again and they get corrupt again.
And TJ, and by the way, TJ, I'm not arguing with you because I'm like mad with you or anything. I'm just saying I actually like that you're asking these questions because
yeah, it's good to ask questions.
I think a lot of people, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people don't understand how the American system, how messed up it is, because America has been lying forever and saying that we have a democratic system and shit like that. So I don't know. It's a mess. There's also been like concerted efforts to make people's votes not matter. We have an electoral college. So it's not as easy as just being like, well, if the country of about 300 million people would have all started voting in this way, how do you do that? How do you convince all these people to start going to a third party when there's two massive parties who are control everything and put out propaganda? Like it's just difficult. Okay. Okay.
We continue to wait for more public executions when we have already seen the evidence in our TVs and computer screens. We have heard the testimony.
I love you too, TJ.
We have watched the pain unfold in real time. How many more lives must be lost before meaningful action is taken?
TJ, I do mean homo. I do mean homo.
United States is and will always be a country of immigrants, built by immigrants. We are a country of love and tolerance. This is the land of the free, the land of the opportunity, and the great nation that people around the world aspire to call home. And prior to this recent war on immigrants, we were a country where law enforcement acted lawfully and appropriately, with respect of all human life. I am happy to see people of different nationalities speak up. This is the spirit of love, unity, and courage. This will make America great. I am asking you today, pleading with you, to please help bring back the America I grew up loving and idolizing. In America that values human dignity, protects life, and lives up to the ideals our founding fathers proudly proclaim. If there's no justice for the people, let there be no peace for the government.
Rebel.
Thank you for your time.
I could do without the American exceptionalism, but I support her.
Okay, I think I know what she's saying. America has so much potential. We really do. And a lot of countries have potential, but we have a potential to be truly reaching out to those and setting examples. Or when we see another country that's doing something that we go, oh, you know what, that might work here, and be honest with that and not going, oh, that's not American. There is so much potential here that and basically all has to do with immigration over the decades. But we want to bury it all. We want to bury it all. I mean, you look at some of the European countries; they're trying hard to make things work. in some places and reaching out to people. And yet here we are, right? It's all about me in some cases, especially in Washington. They act sanctimonious sometimes, but I question if they all really have good intentions, pure good intentions for the people of the nation.
I don't think it's possible, unless we have a completely different system. I think we have a system that prioritizes wealth and power, and doesn't prioritize actually democratic feedback. Um, and I do, and guys, I'm not going after this woman here, okay? But it's just not true that America was good. Law enforcement has been brutal towards especially people of color for a very long time. There's been a lot of problems in the United States for a very long time, and yeah,
But there are some aspects which are good. I mean, and part of one of those aspects are when people see something wrong that's going on, there are people that stand up and demonstrate like they are now. I mean, that can happen. So, but the problem is the those that could change things, the people in Congress would rather keep things the same. We need to aspire to something greater than the trash heap of history right now.
Wait, so I'm just trying to clarify, Dad. Are you saying that the issue is that people in Congress are selfish, or that
That's a part of it.
or that the system that we've created allows people in Congress to be selfish and puts people that are selfish in Congress?
Yeah.
So we need a systemic change, not just a change of the people in Congress.
Yes.
Okay, I was just trying to
I mean,
clarify.
there was a time you were limited to how much money as a corporation you could get.
Yep.
And if you look back then, if you were around back then or read about back then, it was a bit different than today. Some congressional representatives were willing to stand up and take a chance and to point to what was wrong, or to a corporation that was doing something wrong, and go, that is wrong. We need to change it now. You don't see that because they get money from some of these corporations who, they do their bidding for.
Yeah. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but I don't feel like politicians have ever especially been inspired to act. They've done more, but previously, but not enough. And normally it's sort of piecemeal.
I agree, but they were able to do more.
Okay.
Now hardly anybody does.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, the Republicans do a lot, but it's always horrible stuff. And I will say, actually, Congress does a lot of stuff, but it's always for the benefit of the wealthy and the powerful.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
No, and I'm talking about doing stuff, meaning good stuff.
Okay.
So when you say, the Republicans do stuff, well, really? Hitler did stuff too.
No, that's my point, though, is that like, the system is set up where we do a bunch of bad stuff, but, like, also, Dad, we're way behind. How can we possibly say that politicians in the past have done a lot of stuff to fix stuff when we still have a healthcare crisis? We still have tons of poverty.
I'm talking about our whole history.
Yeah.
There are some things that politicians finally stepped up and did something about, but you don't see it as often now, or if at all. I mean, there are things that have occurred which were good for our country and good for the people.
Okay, but I would say that a lot of the most important changes have been through struggle, as in people have had to protest and rise up and push back before politicians did anything.
Well, it depends upon what you consider those important things.
Right. So, can you give me an example of something that politicians did that was very significant, that was beneficial for everyone, or whatever, however you want to define it? Without pressure from the populace. They just did it because it was what's right or whatever.
The Clean Water Act.
The Clean Water Act. Okay.
Which has now been gutted.
Yeah.
There were people who put pressure on him, but what had happened was that there are investigative reporters and other people who went looking at some of these issues. Well, that town has a lot of cancer, and dug for the answers, and then put it out there.
So it was pressure. It was public pressure due to
necessarily public pressure. It was partly public pressure, but most Americans at that time. But these Americans then that put it out there, that discover some of this stuff, the politicians took a hold of it. Some of them did and went, "What the hell?" Because some of them
Do you
didn't
think?
know.
Yeah, but do you think they actually cared, or was it because of the public pressure?
I think it was a big set of issues.
Okay.
I mean, part of it because they were saying this is terrible to have that happen in in the U.S. And it's the whole Clean Water Act wasn't getting near the attention in the public, and most public really didn't care at first about, well, what's wrong with our waters? They look clean to me, and gee, this, that, and the other. And yet, even with less attention on that back then, there was change because there were some people in Congress who listened, subpoenaed some of these people that were dirtying up the water and going, what the hell? There are no regulations. So we're going to start regulating this.
Mhm.
And there's a lot more upheaval today, and they still haven't done anything.
Okay. All right, guys, let's keep going here. Hello, Roku Show, who says half the people don't even know about the Battle of Blair Mountain and think you are referencing a Disney movie. Correct. People got in firefights. Absolutely, Roku Show. We talked about it once.
Yep.
I'll maybe do another presentation about the Battle of Blair Mountain soon. I did it a while back when I started streaming, but
Also,
cool
that
event.
whole Tulsa.
The Tulsa race riot.
Yeah, you don't hear about that one either.
Yep. Okay, guys, let's continue this. Good God, help us.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez, Ms. Rahman. And I'm going to suggest to the witnesses that we stay to 5 minutes because we're running a little bit behind. Thank you.
Oh, boy, will be running behind. That was sarcastic.
Thank you, members, for taking time to be here today, and thank you, staff, for making this happen. My name is Ali Rahman.
Real fast, sorry. Right, weird amorphous blob. I wonder why history classes don't teach about the labor wars.
I did.
Yes, we did, but I know a lot of folks do not, right?
The Tulsa Wall Street riots, I did.
Yeah.
And I am a resident of South Minneapolis. I'm a Bangladeshi American, born in northern Wisconsin, and I'm a disabled person with autism and a traumatic brain injury. Not all autistic brains do this, but mine fixates on sounds, numbers, and patterns. And while what the world saw happen to me exactly 3 weeks ago today on video was a terrible violation, it is still nothing compared to the horrific practices I saw inside the Whipple Center. So I am here today with a duty to the people who have not had the privilege of coming home, and I offer this data because these practices must end now. On January 13th, on the way to my 39th appointment at Hennepin County's Traumatic Brain Injury Center, I encountered a traffic jam caused by ICE vehicles and no signs indicating how to get around it. I had not wanted to pull into a blocked, chaotic intersection, but verbally agreed to do so and rolled down my window after an agent yelled, "Move! I will break your effing window!"
By the way, I love her voice. I just wanted to throw that out there. I love her voice. She has a very sexy voice. Okay?
Oh.
She does
really?
have
I don't care.
She has a sexy voice. She does have a sexy voice, though. Doesn't she, guys? Am I wrong?
No,
It's
it's
first
just
instruction.
What's wrong with that, Dad?
you're taking something that's damn serious and
Oh, Dad, it's a joke.
sexy
It's a
voice.
joke. Calm down, dear Lord. It's a joke.
And you're gay, too.
I am gay. That's what's funny, okay?
Agents on all sides of my vehicle yelled conflicting threats and instructions that I could not process while watching for pedestrians. Then the glass of the passenger side window flew across my face. I yelled, "I'm disabled," at the hands grabbing at me, and an agent said,
I've
"Too
heard of this.
late." I felt
Yeah, I said
immersed
this.
in a pattern, and I thought of Genoa Donald, an autistic black man
Thank you, Promethean
killed by
Rebel.
police during a traffic stop in 2021. I remembered Mr. Sliberio Gonzalez, who was killed by ICE in his vehicle last year. An agent pulled a large combat knife in front of my face, which I thought was for cutting me,
Oh, dear
and
God.
later learned was used to cut off my seatbelt. Shooting pain went through my head, neck, and wrists when I hit the ground face first and people leaned on my back. I felt the pattern, and I thought of Mr. George Floyd, who was killed 4 blocks away.
Good
I was
God.
carried face down through the street by my cuffed arms and legs while yelling that I had a brain injury and was disabled. I now cannot lift my arms normally. I was never asked for ID, never told I was under arrest, never read my rights, and never charged with a crime. Approaching the Whipple Center, I saw black and brown bodies shackled together, chained together, being marched by yelling agents outdoors. I continue to hear the word bodies because that is how agents refer to us.
Dehumanization.
We're bringing in a
Classic in genocidal situations, folks, and in concentration camp situations, you actively try to dehumanize the detainees because it makes it more psychologically acceptable for the people doing the detaining to abuse you, mistreat you, and things like that.
Also,
One second, sorry. They also would put numbers. They would, like, for example, on Jews and other people in concentration camp, they'd put numbers on them. They would cut their hair. They would do other things like that, okay, in a way to dehumanize them more. And actually, what's funny is that her recollection there reminds me very much of during the Rwandan genocide, the Hutu extremists would keep a bunch of Tutsi women chained up inside of these pens and then use them for you know what. And that's what my head went to, like these pens of Tutsis that were being used by the Hutus for sexual assault. And I know that's not the same thing as what she's describing, hopefully not, but like these imagery that she's talking about is very genocidal. Okay, it's what it sounds like to me.
Also, too, it helps ICE agents to not look at the people they're abusing as individual human beings. They are things.
Yep.
You know, oh, that's not Alia Rahman. That's a body.
Yep.
It helps the agents do it.
Yep. As Mauser said here, yes, Mauser, we remember the Unit 731, the Japanese biological weapons unit. They called anyone that they were experimenting on logs, LOGS. You know, I just mentioned what the Nazis did in concentration camps. So that dehumanizing language in a lot of the in a lot of like old slave ship manifests, the Africans aboard those ships are called cargo. You know, we lost this amount of cargo today. We lost that amount of cargo today. Like I could go on and on. That is a very clear step in, for example, the process towards genocidal violence. Okay, and like that's like in every study of genocide, the dehumanization and separation through language is a very clear step. All right.
And also, I want to use a real example here. My dad once told me he fought in World War II, as some of you know, in North Africa, and then landed at Omaha Beach all the way to the Elbe River, was wounded 3 times and all that. But he did say, he came to talk to my class once, and somebody asked him a question, which prompted this response. He says, you know what? Had that person that I shot across the way, the Nazi, had not had his uniform on and just civilian clothes, he said he would have looked just like me. Or if he had American uniform on, he would have been just like me. I would have seen him as, oh my God, I'm a human being just like me. And he said it would have eaten him alive. That thought that he was doing this to a human being. But instead, they were trained to don't look at them as human beings, view them as Nazis who need to be gotten rid of. So that goes to show you that you know, what they're doing with the ice here is using, instead of using humanizing terms, they're using other terms to make it easier for themselves to do it.
Mithril says, I've been reading Our Bodies, Their Battlefield, What War Does to Women. Mithril, I had to take a class at OSU called Women in the Developing World, and there was a whole section on women in war. And oh my God, Mithril, people need to read more about it. But thank you for recommending that book, Mithril. I'm going to take a look into that. Yeah. Okay.
Body. They're bringing in bodies, 7, 8 at a time. Where do I put them? We can't use that room. There's already a body in there. You have no reason to believe you will make it out alive if you are already being called a body. Agents repeatedly had to stop and ask how to do tasks. I received no medical screening, phone call, or access to a lawyer. I was denied a communication navigator when my speech began to slur. Agents laughed as I tried to immobilize my own neck. I asked for my cane and was told no, pulled up my arms and prodded forward in leg irons by agents laughing and saying, walk, you can do it, walk. Agents did not know if the facility had a wheelchair. When I was finally placed in one to be taken to interrogation, an agent taunted, you were driving, right? So your legs do work. I pleaded for emergency medical care for over an hour after my vision had become blurry, my heart rate went through the roof, and the pain in my neck and head became unbearable. It was denied. When I became unable to speak, my cellmate pleaded for me. The last sounds I remember before I blacked out on the cell floor were my cellmate banging on the door, pleading for a medic, and a voice outside saying, we don't want to step on ICE's toes. When I opened my eyes at Hennepin County's emergency room, I learned I was brought there to be treated for assault.
Jesus Christ.
The impacts of DHS detention on my physical, mental, and financial well-being and safety have been very severe, but I do not deserve more humane treatment than anyone else, U.S. citizen or not. And I am here today with a strong spirit and a duty to the many people who haven't had the privilege to tell their stories or see their loved ones come home. I am extremely distressed by the pattern that violence from law enforcement has been happening to Black and Indigenous communities for centuries, and to DHS survivors for over 20 years. We call ourselves a civilized nation, but we lack rules and accountability around what a person claiming to be law enforcement is permitted to do to another human being. I am not afraid. And I'm not afraid to keep working on this problem,
right,
even after ICE is gone. Thank you for your time.
My God, Woody.
So, yep, that's the state that we've come into, guys. Our country is a monstrous authoritarian regime that abuses its own people, and we really ought to make some major changes.
And you know, listening to her, I think of like World War II. I think a lot of this started with World War II. Actually, in the United States with the Civil War with Henry Wirz and Andersonville. But we now charge people with crimes against humanity for treating them like animals. When the authorities treat them like animals, the authorities that we have hopefully defeated. And yet when we do this to our own people, they're heroes. These ICE agents are heroes. These are crimes against humanity. That's all it is. There's no excuse for it. None. And, you know, it's funny. At the Nuremberg trials, a lot of these people accused were going, I was only following orders. I was only following orders. I was only following what my superior said. And you know what? That's what these ICE agents will say. They have absolutely no sense of morality or humanity against the people they're going against. And I've actually heard them say on some of this stuff that's recorded, well, we're here because my superior said there's a person here we need to pick up. I'm doing what my superiors tell me to do. That makes it okay. You're a bunch of thieving criminals, murderers. Period. No excuse. I better calm down now.
Yes, indeed.
Because if I fall over and clutch my chest, my son will look at me and go, yeah, right.
Yeah, Bright Love, you're right. We're like that's like stage 8 or 9 or whatever it may be. Yeah, it's quite horrific. Quite horrific. I should also point out that the United States has also been getting away with crimes against humanity all across the world for a very long time. And I want to point out, remember I talked about the imperial boomerang, how there's a theory amongst fascist theorists that say that, the actions taken against foreign peoples in imperial and colonial acts oftentimes boomerang back around and start being used back inside the country you're in. Well, the United States has upheld far-right regimes elsewhere who are police states who abuse their people. We have bombed other people.
Trump admires them too.
Yeah. And well, who would have thought the methods of the empire are coming home? So exactly. So this has been sort of a long time coming, and we're just seeing it done now against us in terms of coming back home, a lot of this crap. So again, there's a lot of problems. Yeah.
Son, did you hear where the medical examiner on not Pettis, good God, the nurse.
Oh yeah. Yes. Oh my God, what's his first name?
Pettis, who was like nationalist back in the day.
Yeah.
Pettis.
Oh God, I'm having a mind blank, guys. What's the name of the nurse that was shot? Alex Predis. Yeah,
Yes,
Preddy. Excuse me, Alex Preddy. We had a mind blank here.
Did you hear that the medical examiner who did the medical report labeled it homicide?
Mm-hmm.
They labeled it homicide.
Yes, they did.
What are we going to do about that? We will take this innocent person in the car, throw them on the ground, not listen to their medical needs, make fun of them, put chains on them, and do all of this to them. But a man who wasn't harming anybody also, well, she wasn't harming anybody, but he was shot and killed by ICE.
Yeah.
That tells you something.
Godspeed says, as an indigenous person, I don't have the white privilege of the government pretending not to care about me. Yeah, as I said, folks, the United States has long done colonialism, and this is what colonialism looks like. You put people into concentration camps, you push them off their land, you remove them and forcibly chain. That's been going on for a long time. And the chickens are coming home to roost for the rest of America, the non-colonized America, as in the peoples that were not being colonized. It's coming home to roost.
Yeah, and what we did to them is textbook, textbook actions that countries take to try to defeat their enemies or the indigenous people. And I use the word defeat loosely here, and to weaken them and make them lose their sense of identity and hope. I mean, the Assyrians did it way back in history. They would move massive populations from their homeland somewhere else because they knew it took away their spirit.
Yep. Which, by the way, guys, is genocide. It's like, if you don't know if you know that, that is
one of the basic tenets of genocide. I mean, look at Nazi Germany, what they did. I mean, it's the indigenous people here. Let's take them out of, let's say, Ohio and move them out somewhere that they're not familiar with, away from the homeland, away from their sacred lands, and, we'll break them.
Guys, what's funny here? Like, I've noticed that apparently whenever anyone uses the word genocide, it seems like a lot of times it's being has to be approved if you guys use the word genocide, I think. Well, it looks like I see some people using it now. Have people's messages been being blocked because of the word genocide? I see 2 people now who have posted the word genocide. That's super interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so if I missed anyone, so I may have not. Sometimes I forget to pay attention to okaying people's comments. If I accidentally didn't okay anyone's comments, forgive me. I don't see any that I had a chance to okay.
Are they really blocking that?
It looks like it. At least for some, that's what folks are saying here.
Okay, you know, illegal population control.
Mm-hmm. Really, Fetty Spaghetti? This is interesting. I need to look more into this because apparently the word Gaza was being blocked in chat too.
Oh, you're kidding.
No. Oh, I see, guys. So what you're saying here is that some people don't need approval. If you're a mod, you don't need to be approved to make certain comments. Interesting, a bright love. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'm going to look into that, guys. I can try to figure out I can try and figure out what I'll try to look at the settings and shit. That's really bizarre. I mean, it's not bizarre. We live in this country. We're gonna our speech is gonna be, yeah, and shoot, yeah.
Genocide is a fact of the world.
Yeah,
it was and still is. But can't hide from it. You know.
Oh, really, guys? Okay, we'll do that. We'll edit the approved words because obviously, I'm gonna lose my mind if you guys can't say the fact. Promethean, Promethean Rebel, most average, the average people think genocide is just the killing of a group, but the U.S. government stole indigenous children and destroyed their culture and language, which also said. Funny fact, though, Promethean Rebel, right? Yeah, guys, the definition of genocide doesn't only include the purposeful destruction, like death of a group, it also could include mass relocation or cultural destruction. Now, what's funny about this, guys, is that have we noticed how, and Putin is committing a genocide. Putin has gone into Ukraine and they've actually been kidnapping Ukrainian children and bringing them back to Russia and then making them Russian, which is a form of genocide. That is destruction of culture. Now, however, have we noticed that the American government never, ever said that when they did that to the natives, it was genocide? Right? We did the exact same thing to the Native Americans. But of course, in that case,
yeah, we took.
That's not all right.
Yeah, we took the children away and put them in government-sponsored or church-sponsored schools, made them dress like Westerners, made them cut their hair. They couldn't speak in their native tongue. They had to speak English, and sometimes they were beaten if they didn't do that. I mean, that, my friends, genocide. You know, it's, and also they made the reservations. You know, we go, oh, that really solved the problem. No, they made the reservations totally dependent on the federal government and these Indian agents for their survival. Our government was trying to control them. That is genocide.
Yeah, it's genocide. I mean, that's, by the way, you know, that doesn't include, of course, you know, my dad just mentioned it, the forcible relocation, that's also genocide. The putting into, now the reses, I mean, they're sort of a concentration camp type thing. I wouldn't say, well, there's some complication here. They have some amount of more independence today. I'm not downplaying it, but like it definitely sort of has a similar feel to that. Like, okay. And yeah. But I will say, you know what bothers me, guys, is that there is, yeah, it's a Ghislaine Maxwell stop. What bothers me is that there will be some places in the U.S., okay, for example, in like downtown where I'm living in Columbus, Ohio, all right, downtown there is like, I think there's a statue to the Holocaust, right? There's like a Holocaust, there's a Holocaust Remembrance statue in downtown Columbus, Ohio. There's no statue to the massacre of the natives. And I always thought it was interesting how it's so, and by the way, I mean, I'm okay with there being a statue at the Holocaust, but it seems weird to me how we love to look at other people's crimes, but then ignore our own all the time. So
I also want to throw in something here. As most of you probably know, I'm retired. And I actually have volunteered in my community. Pardon me?
Oh, no, I was, yeah, go ahead.
I volunteer within my community at a historic site.
Yeah,
And this
guys.
historic site is near where I grew up and where I now live also. And it's within a 5-10 minute walk from me. And what it is, it's the remains of a Hopewell culture, uh, uh, what I'm going to say, earthworks. And our community, the town that I live in, had the foresight to preserve that site. And I volunteer there as an interpreter, and I've actually have taught this stuff before. I was a volunteer at our what's called now the Ohio History Connection in archaeology, and also learning all about the ancient peoples here. And they actually have that. And one of my goals is I want people to know about the Native Americans, because we not only highlight the Hopewellian culture that developed this, but also too the later people, such as the Wyandots or Wendots, or the some people call them Hurons because they're part of the Huron culture, about what they were like there also. And our community has actually established a connection with a Wyandot tribal group in out west where they were moved. And so our goal is to get that out there and to tell people. And some of the stuff I'm learning is that, for instance, the original Wyandot language, which is based on the Iroquoian language, um, there came a point to where most of the younger people had no idea what, how to speak it, and they're trying to resurrect it now. Why did they? A lot of the people not know how to speak it because of this whole movement to make them like me. Okay, and anyway, so there are some places where they're trying to do something, but of course, in sarcastically, I say, well, if we really want to help them, why don't we give this back to them? But anyway, so there you go.
Yeah. Did your dad, let's see here, did your dad hang out with Minuteman when he visited there for the Great Earthworks video? My dad actually did know that Minuteman went to the Earthworks.
Yes, I did know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that because I saw it.
Yeah.
I've been to the Great.
So no, you actually saw him there?
No, I didn't go there. Well, okay.
No. She was just asking, did your dad hang out with Minuteman when he
No.
visited there? Yeah, I didn't think so, but you did know that he went there, right?
Yeah, I do know. Didn't
Yeah.
he have a video?
Yes,
there?
he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Brad Lepper.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw that one, the head of archaeology. Brad Lepper has been really doing a lot of research on the Hopewell culture, and I have been to the
The Earthworks.
Yeah, those earthworks in Newark. I haven't been to most of them around Ohio.
Okay, so this, hello, Brucey616. What do you mean? Isn't that a super city design complex idea? What are you referring to, Brucey? Would you be more specific? We can answer you. Excuse me. Okay. Let me get in.
Talking about Newark.
Isn't that a super city design complex idea? Oh, you mean Gaza? Yeah, it's disgusting. What they want to do, Brucey. Yeah, but like, there's all these ideas of like raising Gaza and building a bunch of shit there, but it's awful, Brucey. It's genocidal. Okay, it's genocidal. It's not. I don't even know if they won't ever do it. I don't think they want to actually build it. They might build it, but like. They don't care about actually building up Gaza. Okay, they don't care about building up Gaza. All right. So
I gotta be leaving soon because I gotta check out the food.
Okay, you can go now if you want to, Dad. I don't see any questions here.
Yeah, I would love to stay, but I'm cooking dinner again tonight, and I've got to go check out to make sure it's still going okay.
All right. Thank you, Dad, for stopping by.
Thank you guys for putting up with me.
All right. Bye-bye, Dad.
Bye.
All right, guys. I'll post pictures, folks. I know you guys want to see pictures of what he's making. I'll make sure to post pictures of it. Yeah.
It's all from scratch, too.
Yes. All right, guys. Okay. Bye-bye, Dad. Thank you for stopping by. You're welcome. All right, you guys. They say, bye, Papa Revolt. Bye, Chef. Bye-bye. I'm cool, Dad. Wish my dad was like that. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. What is the solution to like this shit though? What would work? So Brucey, the answer to that question is that giving the Gazan people their own state, allowing them to decide these things for themselves. Let them have the power rather than coming in, just, and building whatever people on the outside want there. They should make these decisions. The Gazan people should make these decisions. Brucey, you mean ICE in America? The solution to which part? Which part do you mean to that? Okay, guys. All right, guys. Hey, love having my dad here. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. Let me fix some things here, guys. All right, guys. Let me do this real fast. Boo, 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 boo. Well, Brucey, how do you end the violence? Well, there are many ways you can do that, Brucey. One, you can completely get rid of ICE. Okay, if you're asking how we can maybe end ICE's violence, one way to do it would be to get rid of ICE. That'd be nice, right? ICE actually hasn't been around that long. I think that ICE has been around since, like 2003 or 5 or something. Okay. But the problem here is that that won't happen because though the Democrats and Republicans love ICE, all right? 9/11, thank you, Madzine. So that won't happen. There also could be, if a massive upheaval, if Americans fought back, maybe. So there are ways to stop it, but I don't have a perfect answer for that. But ultimately, I would, getting rid of ICE would probably be the easiest way to end that violence. Okay. Unfortunately, that'll never happen. But okay. I suppose that'd be my answer. So I guess my second answer is if that doesn't work, the other thing that we could do is right now is fight back against it. I'm not saying violently. I'm just saying organize, organize, organize. We need revolutionary change in this country. We need the government to be afraid of us. We need the government to be afraid of us, okay? And not us afraid of the government. It should be the other way around. They should be afraid of us. Okay. Let's see here. I have a treat for you. Sam, when have the victors of a war ever allowed the conquered to do as they please? Oh, I know I have a treat for you, right? It's a problem, right? But admittedly, though, I have a treat for you. You're saying what war are you referring to? Are you referring to the quote unquote war against Gaza? Because I would hardly call that a war. I know Israel calls it a war, but it's like, it's just it's a violent slaughter. According to international law, it can't really even be called a war because it's an occupied country. Gaza is. So, of course, they would never let Gaza make up their own mind, but they should. That would end the problem. That wouldn't maybe not end the problem, but it would go a long way to solving the problem and giving freedom to the Gazan people, okay, the Palestinians. Excuse me. Oh my God, I'm dying here. Yeah, there you go, Promethean Ribble. I deserve my eyes crushed as well. Okay. Okay, yeah, just stop playing the game. Or guys, yeah, that's another thing we could do, guys. If you want to talk about organizing, we could literally just stop working or stop paying taxes. Then what? We run this MFR, okay? Our money funds this MFR. Our labor funds the economy. If we just stopped working with some sort of national strike or we stop paying taxes, alas, there are all these mechanisms of division to prevent us from doing that, to keep the working class separated and things like that. So, okay. Right? And by the way, guys, going back to the Gaza thing, yeah, Godspeed. By the way, Godspeed. I love you, and I love your idea about the Ring of Power. 100%. Someone needs to destroy the Ring of Power. Okay, if we want to use the LOTR example here, that's why I'm a socialist. I would like the power to be more diffused. Okay, and things like that. Anyway. So okay. Well, God knows what Frodo went through, though, to achieve that. Okay. So you guys already stopped one tyrannical government by not paying. That's true, Dolly Boy. You know it. So what do you suggest? Getting a section of the conservatives to the liberal side or left side? In what? Forgive me, TJ. To accomplish what? I may have missed what you said before. Okay. But the thing is that a lot of Americans support Okay, modern Americans support a lot of modern Americans support progressive ideas. They do. Um, so I don't know what to do here, or I have some ideas. Oh, I got you, TJ. I got you, TJ. So the problem here, though, TJ, is that there are all these boundaries to the working class uniting. What we need, the thing we really need, we don't necessarily need the right wing. We just need the left wing to be united, all right, and to work collectively. For any significant, powerful action to take place, you need only 2.5% of the population buying into it. So we really only need 2.5% of the population to stop paying taxes or to engage in a strike to cause major disruptions. I think we can manage to get 2.5% of people, or is it two? I'm sorry, 3.5. You're right, Matt Sagai. 3.5% of people on the same page to do that. Now, it would be very hard. It's a country of over 300 million people, but that's not that big of a percentage. So we need people, and we could even get, yeah, I would also be okay with trying to get, TJ, I agree with you. I also think liberals, there are now, guys, I know the left, the right, the lefties out there are going to hate me, but yeah, I think some lefties would, I mean, liberals would unite with us against fascism. So we could also get some liberals on board. As I've said before, my goal here is anti-fascism. Even if we don't go as far of a revolution as I would like, it would be nice. Okay, it would be nice for us to uh, at least resist the fascism. Okay, at least resist the fascism. Boss, modern America is probably more tyrannical. Oh, almost certainly Promethean rebel. I actually agree with you. You have to understand, guys, the King of England, by the way, is actually was moderated by Parliament at the time. Okay, he actually probably had less power than our current president has today. Um, okay, just getting the cycle. Uh, Godspeed. I'm a socialist. I know. But you have to understand, Godspeed. I am talking about how to get it done in the United States. And you cannot have socialist revolution, all right, if there's a boot on your neck. So first we have to throw off the boot before we can even go, yeah, there you go. Weirdomorphous Blob knows it. Thank you, Weirdomorphous Blob. Same with Sylvie, right? Sometimes you need coalition because trust me, you're not going to achieve the final revolution if for the socialist out there unless if there's a boot on your neck. That's one of the reasons that fascism is so horrific. So we need to throw off the boot. Liberal democracy, guys, as much as there are imperfections, allows for the rise of the left. Okay, so we need. Okay, you see what I mean? Um, that's true in your groove. That's very true. Okay. What's okay? Tell me, Godspeed. What's revision according to you? What is revision? Tell me. Okay, what's that path that you're talking about? I would love to hear it. Okay, explain to me, Godspeed. All right, guys. So yeah, we need major change. We need major changes in this country. I'm advocating for revolutionary change. Okay, we do need it. I think you all know that. I've said it multiple times now. Okay. Godspeed. I know Godspeed. My point here, Godspeed, is let's be honest. Okay, let me ask all of you a question. All right. I know not all lefties agree. That's okay. Do the lefties in here generally agree that unfortunately in America, we are nowhere near a successful paradigm shifting socialist revolution? You see what I mean? Like, I am concerned that if we were to try, if there were to be a revolution that is like try a full-on socialist revolution right now, there's no infrastructure for it. There is very little support for that idea, unfortunately. It's a big problem. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to stand for capitalism. Um, you see what I mean? Like, why don't we but the issue is, so okay, if we're only going to rely yeah, in your group, we're not even close to having a Nordic style social democracy, okay? If we're going to fight fascism, we might need to not go for the moon at first, okay? Yeah, I got you, Godspeed. And unfortunately, That's possible, Sylvie, and I could be wrong about this, guys. Yeah. Brucey. So, Brucey, well, guy, let's talk real fast. So, Brucey here says that even socialists like Zoran seem to be sucking up to Trump. Brucey, what do you mean by that? Okay, I agree with you. Like verbally, he might have sucked up to Trump a little bit. I don't think I've heard that, but what is he doing on the ground in New York? Because it appears to me that he is really he is bucking Trump. He is doing a lot of very good reforms in New York City, even if he might appear to like be appeasing Trump. You see what I mean? Maybe just a little taste of fascism, a little amuse-bouche. Okay. Um, okay. All right. Try not to know true Scotsman challenge level leftists. Oh, good God, Loy. So that's an impossible task. Yeah, no, I agree. So guys, I've always said what we need, guys, is parallel government institutions, parallel support networks, and we need organized collective action. Like it's what like every successful revolutionary action has had a parallel government structure and deeply organized mutual support networks and things like that. All right. So that we need that organization. We need that we need to have alternative forms of survival other than relying on the government and economic system as it is now. I am afraid that unfortunately people will need to basically feel that they have nothing left to lose before they do that, but we can try to inspire people, let's put it that way, to do shit. All right. Yeah, exactly. None of the good is possible without mutual aid or like an organized. And guys, if you have like, I'm talking about this historically. Um, if you have just violence, for example, in theory, if you have just violence, for example, random violence that's not organized, you're just going to make the government crack down on you. Nothing's going to change, and you're going to cause a further entrenchment of authoritarianism without demands, without organization. So, all right. So, Godspeed, right? So regardless, we can debate this. Correct Godspeed. All right. So we need to start building all these things. All right. We need to start building all these things. All right, guys. Oh, that was a fun conversation, y'all. That was a fun conversation, y'all. I had a great old time. Okay. You know what? Here. Let's do this. Guys, today was supposed to be a fun stream. We're supposed to be having fun. Okay, exactly, weird amorphous blob. And Lenin knew what he was talking about. That was one of the successful revolutions. And what I mean by that is Lenin understood there needed to be infrastructure in place. There needed to be parallel government institutions. Okay, so, and by successful, I mean it was able to gain power. We can debate whether it succeeded in some of its goals, but you see what I mean, okay? Now, yeah, Matsy. Now, guys, this was supposed to be a fun day because I don't normally stream on Wednesdays. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do some like religiosity stuff and like, you know, talk about Christianity and stuff. And then of course I'm getting all cut up talking about the serious and theory and shit like that. Let's have fun, guys. Let's have fun. By fun, I mean not that fun, because who can really have fun in this timeline? You will exactly. You shall have fun now. Now we will have fun. Okay, right. I have a treat for you. Okay, so let's see what else we can watch. Okay, let's see what else we can do. Let's see what else we can do. Let's see what else we can do. What else can we watch and or do before I get off here? What else can we watch or do before I get off here? Okay, I'm always getting off, aren't I? You know what? The first thing we can do is I'm gonna go pee. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. So let me come right back. I have a bladder that is like let me go, let me go. Okay, it needs to go. So what we're gonna do is I am going to quickly go urinate and then I'll be back. Okay. All right, everyone good? Everyone good? Wait 1 second before I go. Before I go urinate, I want to give Matt Saigai a boop for all the donations. Thank you, Matt Saigai. Boop. Matt Saigai gets a boop. Okay. Godspeed, I want to give Godspeed a boop because Godspeed has sparked some great conversations. Boop. Lamira,
Okay, I thought you were being mean to me, Lemira. I'm gonna give Lemira a boop just because I like Lemira. Boop. Okay. TJ, I was gonna give you a boop, but not anymore. Okay, fine, TJ, I'll give you a boop. Boop. All right. Outer Signal gets a boop. Boop. Loiso, I'm gonna take a boop. No, I give you a boop too. Boop. All right, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, literally, just give me like 3 minutes, 2, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, whatever. I have a treat for you. No, you get nothing. I have a treat for you. I'm kidding. Here you go. Boop. There you go. I have a treat for you. My treat for you is the boop. Jester, you get a boop too. Boop. All right. You know what? Fuck you, Jonas, and fuck you, Dolly Boy, and fuck you, Matt Song Guy. Fuck all of you. Okay. I love you guys. All right, I'll be right back. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Weirdomorphous Blob. Boop. There you go. Weirdomorphous Blob. Also, my great lefty. Dolly Boy, you exist. That's the problem. Okay, I'll be right back.
Police coming, moving on. We got the fresh fuel. We got to run away. Police coming, moving on. We got the fresh fuel. We got to run away. Dashing through the red lights. Police coming, moving on. Yeah, overtaking on the right way. We got a fresh fuel. Police. Police coming, moving on. Police coming, moving on. We got a fresh fuel. Yeah, overtaking on the right way.
Oh, and we're back, guys. We're back. I'm sure you're all very excited. Let me see here. Let's see who we got here. Let's see. 1 second. Where'd I put the collar, guys? There's the collar. There's the collar.
Okay. All right, guys. What kind of degenerate chats am I gonna see here, right? What kind of degenerate chats should I expect from all of you, all you lunatics out there? What do we got here? What guy do we got here? Private Law Society. Okay, I'm gonna clean the chat. Make him. Sam doesn't like bottoms because they represent competition. Jester. I swear to God, Jester. I swear to God. Okay. More of a bottom, a complete communication. I am a gender abolitionist. Good. I agree. I think we should. I like gender abolition. What are you all trying? Are you all like talking about revolting? What is this? Is there an uprising happening here? Am I going to need to call in the Pinkertons? All right. Hello, Dolly Boy. Hi. God, Dolly Boy's so meek. He just comes in and he's like, hi. Hi, Dolly Boy. I see you. Okay. Jesus. God, such an attention whore, Dolly Boy is. All right. In your groove, it wasn't that loud. It's just you in your groove. It's just you in your groove, okay? Dolly Boy, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive me, Dolly Boy. You know, everyone knows I'm super mean to Dolly Boy. I'm super mean to Dolly Boy. Okay. That's true, Loiso. Nice attempt though. Nice attempt though. That is true, Outer Signal. I guess I should be proud of all of you for implementing my revolutionary lessons. Okay, very good. Oh, we'll shoot them in the wall. There you go, in your groove. Okay, guys. So, Jonas, don't you dare start. Is Cody here? Don't you dare start the cheeseburger nonsense, Jonas. I swear to God. Okay. All right, you guys. Let's react to something else, shall we? Let's find Dolly Boy. I swear to God. All right. Love you all very much. You're all adorable. You're all hilarious to me. I'm correct. Yes, you are. You always are. Godspeed. Like, are you new to the community? Like, I feel like I've seen you like once before, but you're already in here and you're already causing problems. Okay. Like, you're going to fit right in. Everyone in my community is always causing me problems. Okay. You're all a bunch of rebellious children and I need to keep you in place. All right. I need to put you in your place. All right. Chem's Bumguru. That sounds lovely. Do you still want to react to religious stuff? Have you seen Garfunkel and Oates parody song, The Loophole? I probably can't imagine it. I might get copyrighted if it's a song. So I'm going to say no for now. But we could do more religion stuff if you want to. Let me take a look here, guys, at what there is for me to react to. I'm going to go to, all right, let's see here. Let me see what we got here. We got, what do we got here, guys, over on... By the way, folks, please join our Discord community. Hey, Discord community. You can recommend things for me to react to and shit. And that's always fun. Okay. Dale Afterlife, how can you not believe in God? So let's watch this. Okay, this is Ricky Gervais. I don't know much about Ricky Gervais. So guys, don't yell at me if you, for some reason, there's a lot of Ricky Gervais hatred out there. I don't know very much about him, okay? I'm already concerned that, like, whenever I pull up any pop cultural figure, people start like yelling at me because I don't know much about pop culture. Please forgive me if there's something wrong with Ricky Gervais. Okay, let me read the chat here. So, okay, tell me about Ricky Gervais. Is there something deeply wrong with him that I'm gonna get like pushback for showing a video of him? Oh, he's a transphobe. He's a transphobe. Okay. He's more like a liberal. Ew, God. Okay. He's a transphobe? That's disgusting. All right. Not a fan. Okay. You know, okay. Guys, how about this? I'll look into him and then I will decide whether to show it later. If I would be able to cope with most things, but if he's transphobic, I don't want to. All right. I'll take a look into him. Maybe the next stream we'll watch him. I don't know much about. Like, guys, I'm so bad. I am so bad with popular culture. You know this.
Mansplaining could actually bring us together.
Okay, let's watch this. This is from Jonas. Now, does anyone know who Finlay Christie is? I don't know who that is. I'm so bad with pop culture.
Mansplaining.
I'm probably gonna like show you a Nazi and I won't even know it. Okay, we can watch. Let's watch this. Okay.
Hello, Maniacuck. All right. He's deaf an asshole. Okay. You know what? We'll do. Uh, no, it's okay, guys. It's okay. We'll do this one. This looks fun. This is a. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Don't yell at me. I don't know. Okay. All right. You know what? Let's do this one first. Was sent to us from Jonas, and I don't know if it's going to be funny or not. I take no. I know I have a treat for you. I totally agree. I totally agree. Well, but literally though, I need to watch it first. I have a treat for you just because if he says something transphobic in that clip, I don't want to put that up. But okay. But I'll check. I'll check. Okay, so here we go. This is why mansplaining is a good thing. What is it with you people that you're posting in my Discord? Okay, let's listen to it. We'll listen to it, and maybe the guy will be wrong. All right. Oh God.
Mansplaining can actually bring us together. It can be a beautiful thing. I'm going to prove it to you now. We're going to do a mansplaining chorus. Men, your lines are in green. Women, your lines are in cyan. Cyan, women, is the colour between blue and green. Here we go. I'm going to cue you in. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Look how Tarantino uses one continuous shot here. It's a bad choice. We're the university universities. That's really cool.
So, y'all, okay, I'm gonna have to rely on you to tell me if this is true, guys. Like, okay, I know obviously it's a generalization, but I don't really, I believe you, Jonas, but as a gay man, I have not experienced, I will, Jonas, like, give me a second. I have not experienced this, so I'm gonna need to hear from all of you, for all the straight folks out there, or the people who have a similar relationship dynamic, whether does this happen? Is this a thing? Okay, we'll finish it. We'll finish it.
I'm sorry if I ever came across as condescending. I have been socialized to adopt an authoritative role. Nature learned me with an ego. I cannot satisfy my hunting or fighting for my country. I mansplain because I crave validation.
Okay. This is fun. Oh my God.
Everyone, heaven is a place on earth with you. Tell me all the things you want to do.
Okay, I don't want to get copyrighted there.
Is that true?
They're just singing.
It's amazing. I think it was just. It's amazing. I think it was just.
I'm your okay, and then he ended by saying, "I'm your effing friend, Ethan," is what she said at the end. Okay, that's funny. Yeah, I think that is funny, right? It is true. So we've talked about gender and crap before. A lot of men. By the way, I agree. I agree, guys, that I actually think British humor is pretty funny. I know maybe people hate me. I actually think that's one of the great cultural achievements of the UK is that they're very funny over there. But hey, that's my opinion. Okay, I thought that was kind of funny. Was it funny, guys? Like, it is true that like men are socialized in a certain way and things like that. Now, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what to say about this. I have not experienced this. Okay, I have not experienced this. So, is this like a thing that happens? Okay. You know what? Thank you, Jonas. Thank you. But like, what do we think? It was a little funny. Okay. Like, it is kind of funny. I like at least that part where the guy is like trying to be like, oh, the reason I act this way, the reason I act this way is because of blah 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 because of these social. That's true, right? A lot of guys. I don't know, Druzilla. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't understand. Druzilla is like, what is this? What is this trying to show us? Like, I know that. Am I missing something? I know that there's something called mansplaining. You know, it's the idea that men overly explain things to women, or something like that, right? So
but like, so is that just saying that, is that just basically making fun of it and being like, yeah, well, the reason I'm this way. Okay. Who knows? Okay. Got you, outer signal. Okay. You've had female friends complain about mansplaining. I got you. Um, That's fair, but like like to me, it just sounded like the guy was explaining. And again, please don't crucify me, folks. It just sounded like the guy was trying to explain something, like something he was interested in. Uh, what do you mean, clumsy mumsy? I'm not. I don't know what you mean. Okay, but like I don't know though, guys. It just sounded to me like the guy was explaining something he was interested in, and then she got annoyed by it. I don't know. Well, it's like, okay, maybe I'm too. I don't know enough about this. Okay, I know. Clumsy Mumsy is Louise Mad Side Guy. Okay. They do think they know better. I'm mansplaining. Hilarious, Louise. Okay, outer signal. It's like when a random guy at a pub tries to explain rocketry to the female. Oh my God. Well then, yeah. Yeah. Okay. But like, so, and I'm honestly asking here, please don't crucify me. Like, is it possible that is not, but like, how do you know when a man is mansplaining or is just interested in something and explaining it to you? Is that like, outer signal, or who was it that said here? It's when like a man is like you're a rocket scientist and a man tries to explain to a woman who's a rocket scientist how rockets work. Is that what it means? Is that like I'm literally asking, don't hate me. Okay, Promethean Rebel. Basically, when men explain something in a patronizing manner or being condescending. Oh, I got you. Okay. I got you. Explaining with the assumption that they know less. Oh, I get it, guys. I totally get it now. Okay. I got you. Okay, Macy, that makes sense. Okay, guys, I get it now. So it's like condescension. It's like the assumption that a woman doesn't know. I get what you're saying. Okay. Okay, is that true? Okay, guys, thank you for explaining to me. I literally don't know what it means. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so it comes along with like, I've heard the term, but I am ignorant about a lot of things. Gotcha. So it's like when you explain something in a condescending way, it's in a way that is not inherently just because of interest. It's because it's like, well, it's kind of like, well, okay. Does that make sense? Okay, that makes sense. All right, I get it now. I don't know, Matt Saiga. I'm literally asking, but I'm nervous because I know these topics can really upset people, and I'm walking on eggshells here trying to learn. Oh, I got you, Jonas. It's almost like peacocking. Look how smart and great I am. Clearly, I'm a natural leader. So, do you want a drink and naked sexy time? Oh, I got you. Okay. So you're saying a lot of folks are saying that a lot of times it's misunderstood, that it gets misattributed. Interesting. That's what someone just said here. I feel like mansplaining isn't used correctly most of the time. Oh, okay. Kind of like the actually. Oh, I got you. So there's a tone. Okay, guys, thank you. I am learning. I am very learning. So Macy says, to be fair, we were the newest people, but it was very simple direction, and the female boss explained good and clearly and respectfully. Got you. Okay. So that's fair. Okay, that's fair. I am. All right. I got you. Okay. I understand it now. I understand it now. All right. That's interesting. Thank you for that, Jonas. I better understand mansplaining now. All right. All right. So, you know what? Real fast, let me just look up mansplaining. I want to see if there's an explanatory video. I know I'm like getting way too into this, but mansplaining explained. Man tried to mansplain golf. Woman accused man of mansplaining, gets as good as she gives. I would really like to see what. Okay, so let's real fast. This woman is accusing this man of mansplaining. I know I'm way too interested in this. Let me see what I don't tell me if what we're about to see is mansplaining, and so maybe I'll be able to see an example.
The mansplaining. I'm enjoying it.
You're loving what?
The mansplaining that's going on. Well, just talking
maybe
me
this
through
might not be a good
how,
example.
by not answering the question, by repeating processes which are
did
not.
you say it's a bad example, Jonas? Okay, good God. See, guys, I'm sorry. I'm ignorant. I'm sorry. I'm just a innocent little gay man, and I don't know how these heterosexual things work. Okay, I know I'm exaggerating. I know I'm being an asshole. I don't think these are heterosexual things. These are gender structure things. I'm trying to find a good example. Okay, we'll watch this one.
Yeah, I know how to check the oil in my car. No, I don't need you to explain that. I just wanted to know when I could pick it up. Yep, I regularly check the air in the tires. Yes, I know how to fill the water. Yep, anyway, can
I get it now. Okay, I get it now. I don't even need to watch the rest of this. So this would be like a woman talking to a mechanic, and he's like trying to explain to her how a car works and shit without assuming she doesn't know because she's a woman. Okay, I get it. Okay, that I totally get it now. I have an intuitive understanding of it. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, I totally get it. All right. Well, now we know. Okay, now I know. You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day, don't ya? Don't you, guys? Okay. What else we got here? Here we have
Gabrielle.
Kay. All right, let's watch this real fast. I am mansplaining is like top-splaining. Loiso. Oh my God. Loiso, you know how to communicate with me. I totally get it now. That actually does make a lot of sense. I'm not going to say that out loud, Loiso, but I kind of understand what you're saying now. Okay. I got you, Outer Six. Okay, I get it now, guys. Don't ask, Jonas. Don't ask. I think I get the idea from Loiso here. So, okay, you know what? I'll explain this. So Loiso makes a good point. Guys, occasionally in same-sex relationships, some guys in same-sex relationships will try to take on what they view as a masculine or a feminine role. No, it is okay. You know what, TJ? Maybe I shouldn't explain it. I don't know. I'm gonna explain anyone. Okay. No, by the way, this does not mean that you should ask a gay couple who's the woman and who's the man. Okay, I know you guys know that, but sometimes this does happen, and sometimes it happens, and a member of that relationship doesn't want it to happen. As in, like one of the two men might want to be more masculine and then start treating the other man in sort of a condescending way. Does that make sense? Like he's a man and that other person's a woman. So the point Loiso is making, without going into detail here, is that, yeah, it can happen amongst gay folks as someone tries to take on a more masculine role. It can happen to people, men. Okay, I get it now. All right. Okay, we won't go into too much detail here. I don't want to use the terminology that Loiso used because it's embarrassing to talk about. But okay. Right, there you go, TJ. Okay, there we go. All right, so I get it now. But I think it's a bit, I get it. Okay, regardless, let's go on to this. This was sent by Mr. King K. This was sent by Mr. King K. And I can already tell you guys, I'm going to have some issues with this. You know why? Because I've done research into this video, and if anyone has seen it, I'm going to quickly ruin your view of it. So if she says what I think she's about to say, I'm going to tell you that she's wrong, and then you're all going to be mad at me. Okay, so let's see what we got. Let's see what we have to say here.
Rico Jimenez. She was a Mexican model and disappeared back in 2009, of course, yet another person disappearing. She was filmed outside of a luxury hotel screaming about how they were eating people. Everyone thought she was crazy. Of course, the woman is crazy, not to be believed. Don't believe the woman. Yes, she was visibly distressed. Wouldn't you be making accusations against highly powerful...
That was a very advantageous cut.
Powerful, prominent people in society that they were eating people? That's crazy, right? She's got to be crazy. This says here, on the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from those intestines. I guess...
Again, so guys, listen.
I know you're all gonna hate me. Okay, maybe you won't, but it's just not. That video is absolutely unrelated to Epstein. She clearly has a mental health issue. If you watch the whole video, she says all kinds of things that make zero sense, that have nothing to do with Epstein or anything like that. A bunch of police officers approach her, and and she starts accusing them, of various things. Like she's having a mental health break. And she never mentions anyone related to Epstein or anything like that, or at least I don't know if she does, but she's having a mental health break. And as a matter of fact, right after this, because I did research, they took her to a psychiatric hospital, and she had been in there previously. As a matter of fact, during the when the police started coming to her, of course they cut the video right before she says this. She says, "You're the ones who took me to the hospital before. You're the ones who took me to the hospital before." Well, yeah, she's having a mental health crisis. Okay. Um, so, uh, yeah, Lois. So okay. And I will say, guys, I want to point out though, does that mean that a lot of the accusations aren't true? No, I mean a lot of them are true. I'm just saying specifically, um, specifically this one, which I keep seeing people post about, has no relation to the Epstein files. This is a mentally ill woman who's having a psychiatric break in public, and I feel really bad for her that her face keeps getting plastered online. Um, by the way, I know this, guys, because I researched it, and I also have. I used to work in a group home, and there were residents there who had similar mental health issues, and you become paranoid, and you start having delusions, and you start ac- accusing things. And cannibalism is a very common accusation. Um, so this is not good evidence. And by the way, she's not mentioned anywhere in the Epstein files. And another point here, guys, forgive me. If you go back, and I knew she would do this as soon as I saw this video. One second.
Yeah.
Do you notice how that last line there, she says, "And they smell like human flesh." What? What is that? Okay, there's a lot more she says, but even that last line, which they cut out, she didn't let us hear her say that part. They smell like human flesh. What does that mean? Okay. But the other thing here is she shows a
She
document.
was visibly distressed. Wouldn't you be? Making accusations against highly powerful, prominent people in society that they were eating people? That's crazy, right? She's got to be crazy. This says here, on the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from those intestines.
Okay, this document. Again, guys, I read through these documents, and that yesterday I talked about how many of them are true. This one is one that I don't believe, right? Or that is just an unverified accusation. In this document, it says that a far right-wing conspiracy theorist brought someone to the FBI to have him report these things. Let me read the first line. Let me read the first line of this report, which is not highlighted. Notice she did not highlight in this document on this page, she did not highlight the first line. The first line of this accusation says, while I'd like to add a few other points that were disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. What? That sounds kind of racialized, doesn't it? Why might a far right-wing conspiracy theorist bring a guy to the FBI to report that there were black people just assaulting white blonde women on a yacht? On top of that, further on, it says he was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice, in which his feet were cut off with a scimitar, but there was no scarring left. So that must mean he still has feet, and there's no evidence that anything was ever cut off. What? By the way, after saying that, okay, the last line of this document says he was also assaulted by George W. Bush. Well, wait a minute. So I thought it was all black men, but George W. Bush was there too? Do we okay. So I just be careful, guys. It's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, these elites did horrible things. But some of these things that are just not good accusations. And people are making real big leaps without actually looking at the documents. All right. Um, okay, there's plenty of horrible stuff in the documents that is probably true that we've talked about. Okay. I have not, by the way, seen any evidence that there was cannibalism. I know. I haven't seen it. There's been lots of other worse stuff, a lot of other bad stuff, but I have yet to see the evidence that there's cannibalism. Okay. Overall. Yeah, you don't need to make shit up, guys. You don't need to make shit up to see how bad a lot of this stuff is. You want to hear something I read about that I saw in one of the documents that was kind of gross? This is just a random thing. And notice she's cherry picking. She's only mentioning okay. Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, purchased a piece of okay, let me show you. The Kaaba in Mecca. This is not that disturbing. It's just kind of exactly Meowzord, okay? The Kaaba in Mecca. This is not that. This is like okay. This is kind of weird that I'm bringing this up, but it's just something I read about last night. I wanted to share with you guys. So so this is the Kaaba, okay? It's in Mecca. It's where Muslims they take a Hajj, which is a pilgrimage to Mecca once in their lives. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. You circle around you circle around it, you pray, you touch it, etc. Okay. Over this building, there is a black cloth, and it's beautiful. Okay, it's very beautiful. There's all this Arabic writing on it. It's beautiful. Every once in a while, this cloth gets dirty and stuff over time. They remove the cloth and they put a new cloth on it. All right. This disgusted me, okay? Because as a historian, especially, or just as like an anthropologist, that's a really cool cultural artifact, and it's beautiful, right? This cloth that's beautiful, well made. It's been touched by thousands, if not millions, of people. It's holy, okay? It should be respected, and then like even after it's been removed, it should be taken care. I think you should take care of it, right? So Jeffrey Epstein, in several of this is so gross to me, okay? In several of these emails, he actually was able to get a piece of one of these coverings of the Kaaba, all right, of the Kaaba. You know what he did with it? So he got a piece of one of the old coverings of the Kaaba, and he uses it as a rug. Yeah, Jonas. He used it as a rug in his on the island, I guess, or in one of his houses. Now, okay, given everything in the files, I know it might seem weird that that really, really, really ticks me off, okay? But just think about how cruel and disgusting you have to be to like disrespect the religion of billions of people by buying this very sacred and very thing that's held very important by lots of people, and then use it to step on over every day. Okay. Also, it shows Allah how he views Muslims, right? And also, if you look in a lot of the other, yeah, right, Jonas, it's this weird desire to like defile things that other people hold sacred and to almost assert superiority or like, look, I get to step on this thing that everyone holds sacred. And I know that, like, given everything we read yesterday, it's like, why am I fixating on this? I don't know. I just think it's really symbolic of these people's point of view. Okay. Like, it's just like they have nothing is sacred to them. Nothing deserves respect. Everything is beneath them. Everything is just a rug to be like,
to be walked upon. Who cares about the Constitution? Who cares about the holy covering of the Kaaba? Who cares about whatever it may be? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? They don't care about humanity. They don't care about people. So anyway, it just was infuriating to me. Okay. All right. So again, there's plenty of shit in these files that we can complain about, and there's lots of other gross stuff that you all know about, but just be careful. Not everything in there is true. All right. Okay. It makes me so sad. Look at this. Look at it. It's so beautiful. I want to see if I can find a close-up image of the covering here. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I know it's kind of hard to see here. Like the artistic value. Look at that. Oh my God. It's so beautiful. It's hard to see here. The design there on this, you look at that. That's all writing. This has to be sewed and stuff really carefully. Anyway. Yep, you're right, Jonas. And what's weird, Jonas, too, is that it was sold to him. This thing was sold to him by, I think, Qataris. I need to look it up, okay? They actually sold it to this man. Who sold Epstein? It may have been the Saudis that sold it to him. Who sold Epstein piece of Kaaba covering? All right. Yep, it was shipped to him, okay, via UAE contacts. By the way, he had been promoting the UAE. He had been trying to form an alliance between the UAE and Israel, also in the documents. Okay. All right. Yeah, Godspeed. What do you mean satanic power? What do you mean by that? Okay. So, okay. It's just really gross. I don't know what's gross, what's worse, being from the UAE and then purposely selling Epstein this thing, or actually stepping on the damn thing and being so disrespectful. Okay. All right. So that's gross. Okay. So if whoever sent that to me, forgive me if I just sort of dismantled that, but all right.
What was really
Okay, let's watch this real fast. I guess here we have Anna Kasparian. We'll watch this real fast. Okay, so, okay. All right, you guys. So here we got, this is someone sent, I think Mr. King K sent this to me also. This is Epstein files reveal insane Israeli involvement. Okay, so let me explain to you, okay, let me explain to you something. I have seen several major news sources talking about how Epstein is connected with Russian intelligence. Now, that might be true, actually. Some of the files seem to indicate that there may have been some links between Epstein and Russian intelligence. But you know what intelligence agency the vast majority of the evidence points to him being associated with? Like the vast majority. And like a lot of it. Okay? A lot of it. Okay? By the way, hail Satan. What intelligence agency do we think the vast majority of the evidence... Oh, can't be Mossad, Jonas. No, 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 no. It's Mossad. It is all over the documents. All over the documents that he is associated with Mossad, that he was working with Mossad, that he even makes jokes about it. He makes jokes about it with, right, Meowsword? No! He makes jokes about it with Ehud Barak in some of the documents. But what all the mainstream news sources, what are they talking about? Oh, he's associated with Russia. And I'm going to lose my mind. Why can't we call a spade a spade? He was clearly working with Mossad. And yeah, he may have been working with Russia too, but the evidence is like clearly for Mossad. So why the hell are all the media sources bending over backwards to talk about the Russia connection but not mentioning Mossad? Okay. Because they're pathetic and they don't want the pushback. They know that they'll be accused of being anti-Semitic. They know that all the Zionists will come out and start screaming at them. So, yeah, all right. Okay.
Good checkup there, Druzilla. Good checkup. Forgive us, Godspeed. We're very careful about people using demonizing language against Muslims in here. So thank you, Godspeed, for allowing us to question you. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, TJ says if he's connected to Israel, I wonder when the ISIS link to Epstein will show up. Guys, TJ is not wrong. Okay. I know that sounds crazy, but there are a lot of weird implications in the files about how ISIS may have had a connection to Israel. I'm not even joking. And think about it. Isn't it weird that ISIS didn't attack, like, this radical fundamentalist Islamic group never seemed to aim at Israel for anything. They attacked every other country under the sun, but for some reason just never happened to get to attacking Israel. And then there's some implications that in the files that indicate, we can get into it. But yeah, so okay. And guys, I got to read more about it. Refocus, no, not that I have heard of. Maybe it was. All right. So I need to look more into this. I was going to talk about it tomorrow. Toya, I haven't seen that yet. I have not seen it. They might come up there. Okay. Anyway, so let's take a look here. There you go. There you go, Meowsword. This is a video that was sent to me. It says Epstein files reveal Israeli involvement. Let's just see what Anna has to say. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the TYT, but we'll take a look at what they have to say. They do pretty good stories on some things.
Going on with Epstein, because Epstein was more than just a serial pedophile and a pervert. He was an incredibly powerful man who was, by the way,
TJ, look it up, okay?
Multiple instances in the files that were just released, talking about his work for Mossad, talking about his work for the Rothschilds. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Oh my God, and that makes me cringe so much. Oh, and I'm almost feel embarrassed talking about it, and I shouldn't. There's an old anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about the Rothschilds, this old Jewish banking family that controls. Okay, you guys know where I'm going with this. Unfortunately, in the files, there are extensive conversations between one of the Rothschilds and and Epstein. As a matter of fact, in one file, Epstein says that I represent the Rothschilds, and oh my God, it's gonna be it's so bad. It's all right. It's gonna completely throw gasoline on the anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Yeah, Rothschilds is Alex Jones level conspiracies, and then it's just gonna throw. Okay, I'm very scared for innocent Jewish people out there that are going to be thrown into the same bucket as Epstein because of this shit. All right. Absolutely, Godspeed. I agree with you. Godspeed, hail Satan. All right. Okay, I hate there you go, Weird Amorphous Blob. All right, yeah, and this is where I'm afraid, guys, because we've already seen people come into the chat and do the JQing because of this. All right. Yeah, they'll blame Zoran for it, even though, like, it's a lot of these ultra Zionist Jewish supremacist folks, kind of like in Christianity, right? The Christian nationalists give the rest of Christians a bad name, for example, okay? Or like, you know, the ISIS Islamists give the rest of Muslims a bad name. Now, obviously, I'm exaggerating. I'm oversimplifying, but okay. Let's watch this, what Anna has to say here.
And so, can we discuss the blackmail operation that was taking place and which government that's a special ally of the United States put him up to it? And do we really want to be allies with a country that kidnaps young girls for rape just so they can have dirt on American politicians and control our foreign policy?
Spoiler alert, the topic was changed promptly to...
Of course it was. Of course it was. This was Piers Morgan. Of course it was.
Epstein's relationship with Russia, and we did not talk about the blackmail operation. But we will be talking about it here on this show. But before we do, Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so as you're about to see, Israel is all over this files. But when we give you the information about what they wrote when they thought no one was looking, we'll then talk about 2 other things. One is, why is the entire national media covering it up when it...
No, you're absolutely, Jonas, you're right. That's not JQing at all. You don't have to say that with me, Jonas. I know you're not JQing, but
Edmund de Rothschild Bank. Yeah, they did. As a matter of fact, guys, Epstein facilitated that transfer of money to help fund Israel's cybersecurity apparatus. Okay.
There's abundant evidence. At the very minimum, there should be a national conversation. Who did it, right? And then we could also talk about okay, if it turns out to be Israel, are there going to be any consequences? And that begins to give you a sense of why no one's talking about how it might be Israel, especially given what Drop Site News reported. And so don't forget that either. We'll add that to the end of the story.
Yeah, in fact, let me just briefly mention, we've been covering the insanely good reporting that Drop Site News has been.
Drop Site News has been doing a great job recently. By the way, folks, I haven't done this yet. Forgive me. If you like the content, please become a member for as little as 99 cents a month over on YouTube. Your support will help me continue doing this full time. For as little as 99 cents, you become a member. You get a free Jester hat next to your name. As you can see here, it changes with time. The color changes the longer you remember, and you also get access to members-only emojis in the chat. If you're over on Twitch, you can also become a subscriber using Amazon Prime for free or doing a paid subscription. If you do that, you'll be able to watch my streams without ads. Okay. Also, if you can also send a super chat over on YouTube or bits over on Twitch. And right here next to my face is a QR code. You can use that QR code to do a buy me a coffee. If you send me a buy me a coffee of $5 or more, you will be I will send you a personalized. Thank you, Jonas. Thank you very much, Jonas. I'll send you a personalized video response to that buy me a coffee. Okay. Jonas, thank you very much. Help support the revolution. I agree. Okay. So just got to do my little advertising. I realized I hadn't done it yet. Okay. Let's continue.
Doing in regard to Jeffrey Epstein's relationship with Israel, because it wasn't just a blackmail operation. He was also brokering international deals on behalf of Israel, right?
Yeah, he was.
Whether it was selling, spy software,
there you go, Tiago.
cybersecurity software, creating ties between Israel and the UAE. We've talked about all of it. So there's that. But this notion of a blackmail operation, let's talk about that a little bit. So look, we know without a shadow of a doubt at this point that Jeffrey Epstein was in fact working for Mossad. Yes. Was he an agent himself or was he an asset? To me, it doesn't matter because it's clear in these.
I hope they talk about, there's a document in there where he's talking to Ehud Barak, and Ehud Barak, Jeffrey Epstein says, make sure you tell them, Ehud, that I'm not a member of Mossad, and then he puts a winky face. And Ehud Barak responds and goes, oh, don't worry, I'll tell them, winky face. It's like, okay, you're not even hiding it. You're like barely hiding it, okay? Jesus.
Documents based on emails that he himself was writing that he was working for Mossad and the Rothschilds, by the way. He even says it clearly in one of the email exchanges. So included in the latest batch of the Epstein files is an FBI document that quotes a confidential human source who claimed that Epstein was an agent of the Mossad. Now, this CHS, confidential human source, was connected with Epstein through Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz.
I cannot stand that man. Oh my God, Alan Dershowitz. I cannot stand that man. Guys, anytime I see his face, I get really, I just get so gross out. Like I will tell you this, guys. Like there are other documents in the Epstein files where Epstein is complaining about Alan Dershowitz with Woody Allen. Woody Allen sent Epstein an email where he's like, oh my God, I can't stand Alan Dershowitz. He's so annoying and self-centered. He always talks about himself. And Epstein responds, oh my God, I know, he's so annoying. He won't shut up. He's always talking about himself. He's self-obsessed. And one of the little joys in my life is knowing that Dershowitz probably has now heard about those emails, so he knows how much all the people around him hated him while he was with these people. That's a little joy of mine, I guess, that Dershowitz has probably been humiliated. But like, oh my God, I can't stand Alan Dershowitz.
Which we'll be talking about in a little bit as well. Now I'm gonna give you the excerpt from the actual FBI file and I'll read you the relevant parts. So confidential human source, CHS, learned that Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families. For example, Josh Kushner and Jared Kushner were both his students. Dershowitz told CHS that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence Mossad agent. Confidential human source believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad and subscribed to their mission. CHS still continues to communicate occasionally for Dershowitz.
Jesus.
Now, Even more damning was the next excerpt I'm going to read you from the FBI document that was part of the Epstein files. Let's take a look. Jeffrey Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. The confidential human source remembered Dershowitz tell Alex Acosta, the U.S. attorney of Southern District of Florida at the time, that Epstein belonged to both U.S. and allied intelligence services, meaning.
By the way, not very, honestly, gotta tell you, not much of a distinct line there between U.S. and Israeli intelligence. They're kind of, they're basically the same apparatus. I'm slightly exaggerating, not by much though. They share so much intelligence and they're so interconnected. I would not be surprised if he was also working for U.S. intelligence, which would also partially explain the amount of how lightly they have been treating him as sort of an exchange for the work he did for the U.S. and U.S. intelligence. Okay, so he probably was working for U.S. intelligence and Israeli intelligence, Mossad. And maybe even Russian intelligence too.
CHS shared phone calls between Dershowitz and Epstein during which he/she took notes. After these calls, Mossad would then call Dershowitz to debrief. Epstein was close to the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy under him. And the confidential human source also told the FBI, let's take a look at the next graphic, another excerpt from the FBI document. Trump has been compromised by Israel and Kushner is the-
In your groove, I haven't heard about that. That looks interesting, I'll take a look at that.
Real brains behind his organization and presidency. Now,
you got it, Lacroix. You totally got it, Lacroix, all right?
I kind of want to stay on the topic of Dershowitz and what we've just read, right? Let's process it for a moment. I'll start with you, Cenk.
Yeah, so Dershowitz, in all of his appearances, says, I'll sue anyone that talks about me.
Oh, you're right, Loiso, you're right. The 5, that's the, I forgot that that's like that code word they have. Okay, for some reason, I don't know why, I kept thinking like the Black Hand. I'm like from World War I, 5 eyes is not Black Hand. Okay, I got you.
Or any client of Jeffrey Epstein, and he constantly demands to know the names of the victims. He keeps saying, no.
Jonas, you are not wrong. You are not wrong at all, Jonas. As a matter of fact, Jonas says, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up finding links between accelerationists and Epstein. There are links, Jonas, in the documents, 100%. He had links to like 4chan, and the Poll subreddit, and he had links to, he had links to Peter Thiel. There's actually a document where he's talking about how he wants Peter Thiel, he likes the idea of speeding up the collapse of society. Like, it is not exactly, so Jonas, we already know the answer to that, Jonas, and you're right. He was linked to this shit, okay? I know, there you go, right, Loiso?
One thing that you should redact the people who might have done it, but you shouldn't redact the names of the victims because he wants to sue them. So that's lawfare. And so he's threatened people over and over again. He threatens every show that talks about it. And he has a mysterious amount of money, I don't know from where, to apparently engage in all these lawsuits.
Jonas, even Brexit.
And so now this is a confidential human source. That means it is one person, and you take it with a grain of salt. And I would love to get all of this in the court of law. And I would love for all this evidence to come forward and for us to adjudicate this. Now, for the moment being, we don't have that. Why? Because Dershowitz and Epstein and everyone who covers up for them in the US government has prevented that from happening. There are no clients, the Trump team told us.
Yes,
Biden didn't do anything. He just drooled for 4 straight years. And every administration, there's nothing to see here, but 1,200 girls have been raped. But no one raped them other than Epstein and Maxwell.
Jesus Christ.
So now we have the stories of Dershowitz. Again, we're not saying they're true. We're telling you this is what's in the files reported by a confidential human source. Another where he watches Epstein.
What?
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Because I actually read verbatim what the Epstein files say about Dershowitz during my appearance on Piers Morgan's show today. And I had a question for both Eric Bolling, who was on the panel, and Piers Morgan about Dershowitz and whether or not they're interested in talking with him on their shows in the future. So without
they still have Dershowitz on like CNN and shit like that, or God.
further ado, let's take a look at how that exchange went down.
Anyone who mentions Dershowitz's relationship with Epstein, as I have done in the past, gets threatened by Dershowitz with a lawsuit. And I never retract my statements because I would love nothing more than to go through that discovery process. But in the files that were just released, there's an email that Norm Finkelstein sent out, essentially condemning Dershowitz because Jane Doe number 3 said this in sworn testimony. Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz was around Epstein frequently. Dershowitz was so comfortable with the sex that was going on that he would...
Weird Amorphous Blob, I would not be surprised. Although I am surprised, Weird Amorphous Blob, that she has been invited back so often. I thought she would have been banned by now because she said other things like this before. It's kind of surprising that Pierce has had her on. I think he's all in it for the views, and he knows that she causes controversy, which gets some more views. So that sort of interest in profit might be outweighing the fear on Pierce's end, but that's a good point, Weird Amorphous Blob.
Even come and chat with Epstein while I was giving oral sex to Epstein.
Yep.
So my question to everyone who has Dershowitz on as if he's some sort of expert who should be taken seriously, who has an opinion that should be valued in any way, will you please stop having that disgusting man on your show?
No, Anna, I won't. And no, hold on, guys. Hold on. I had him.
Pierce Morgan never answered the question, but Eric Bowling, I mean, he couldn't wait to say, no, I'm definitely going to keep having Dershowitz. I hold his feet to the fire. Okay.
Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. Interesting that there are people I could buy cyber weapons from and give them to Israel.
Okay.
That's not a thing. So all of establishment media still ignoring this is insanity.
Jake.
Total insanity.
Jake.
And so look, one last thing about that, Anna. Imagine if the story was Epstein tried to procure cyber weapons for China. Do you think we'd be talking about that nonstop? Of course. Everybody would be like, China, our mortal enemy, China, has cyber weapons for Russia, Russia, or just a random country, Kenya. Like I imagine New York Times.
I don't think so, Loiso. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so, though.
CNN would be like, whoa, Kenya's all over the Epstein files. And it turns out he was trying to get cyber weapons for Kenya. He was trying to get America to bomb Kenya's neighbors on behalf of Kenya.
Hello,
wow,
J Dude.
What an amazing story. When it's Israel,
No, there is a pattern when it comes to Israel, and we just need to call it like we see it because it's the truth, okay? Israel provides safe harbor for...
He's a lawyer, Dolly Boy, and a pundit. He's also extremely pro-Israel. He's a talking head for Israel. But I think his main thing is that he's a lawyer.
Jewish American.
That's a good way of putting it, Jonas. He is a defense lawyer for the depraved. Hello, J-Dude.
Who happen to be pedophiles and they want to skirt prosecution. So Israel, bring them in, come on, we will provide safe harbor. Israeli government officials come to our country attempting to rape our girls, and our government lets them go. Tom Alexandrovich, whatever happened to that guy?
Guys, that's true. There have been a few Israeli nationals that have been charged with assaulting Americans, children, and then have been, instead of being tried and put in prison, have been allowed to return to Israel with escaping charges and then allowed to live free there. Would we, all right, yeah, he was in your groove.
Right, by the way, I looked into it just to see if there are any updates. The latest update on Tom Alexandrovich, who was caught in an FBI sting attempting to have sex with a 15-year-old girl, who was a decoy, by the way. Last time he was written about in US media was November of last year.
So they won't extradite him. We're not even asking them to extradite Alexandrovich. 8 Americans got caught with him in a sting. They are facing full consequences, which they should.
They should, absolutely.
Right? But Alexandrovich, because he's Israeli, faces no consequences. So, by the way, as I talked about on Tucker Carlson's show that came out on Friday, Israel has also murdered 9 Americans in the last 3 years. No accountability, zero. One of them was an American journalist
who was assassinated.
One of the most prominent.
Was literally shot from a distance, I think in the head, by a sniper rifle in a clear assassination of an American journalist.
Journalists in the Middle East. When the Saudis did it, we still talk about it today, and we should. What a monstrous act it was to murder Jamal Khashoggi. Meanwhile, Shireen Abu Akleh, an American journalist, murdered, and everyone acknowledges it was an assassination from hundreds of yards away, a sniper shot to kill her. And our government doesn't even care. Doesn't even ask for justice, doesn't ask for an extradition. Who did it? They don't care because they work for Israel. And we're tired of
right, Jonas.
Soft pedaling it. No, Israel's totally above the law in America. This proves it over and over and over again.
So guys, this is the point, right? If there's no accountability, people can do anything, right? Like there has been no accountability for these folks. The United States lets Israel do whatever it wants. It lets the elites of Israel do whatever it wants, which enables bad behavior. Okay. Like, we are enabling all this shit. These people should be afraid of us. Okay. These elites who do these things should be afraid of us. We should not enable their behavior. That's all we're doing. We've been enabling it and enabling it and enabling it and enabling it. Okay. It's like running a classroom, folks. You cannot enable the disruptive students to be disruptive and to get away with it all the time and to keep doing it and to keep doing it and to keep doing it. And then that also opens the door to other students doing it because they're like, well, if they're doing it, I can do it too. Okay.
Let's give you more from the files.
So Ghislaine Maxwell was also accused of being a Mossad spy in this document dump, okay? And I mean, look, that should be the least surprising thing on the planet, given the fact that her father, Robert Maxwell, worked for Mossad. So in an email contained in the files, gentleman by the name of Mark V. Iverson, who had apparently had some contact with Ghislaine Maxwell, was told that she was an Israeli spy. Quote, I was warned that she was a spy.
Guys, don't forget, though, Epstein was a Russian spy, okay? He was a Russian spy. That's the big news story here, is that he was a Russian spy.
And to stay away from her, he said in one of the documents. Now, in the same email, by the way, and these are emails. So this is him writing what he has been warned about and what he knows about Ghislaine Maxwell. So let's take a look at this excerpt from his email where he writes, and this is the relevant part, I suspect Robert, Ghislaine, and Jeffrey were all Mossad agents trying to blackmail leaders in the political and financial world.
Right, Meowzorn?
I mean, how much more do we need, honestly? Okay, how much more do we need? I'll give you more if you want it.
No, we're gonna give more, but
right, Jonas? Not shocking at all. Guys, remember that her father stole nuclear weapons information from the United States for the Israelis. It runs in the family, okay? Like, okay.
I talked to folks that largely consume legacy media today. You know, so if you're online, especially if you watch Young Turks or some of the other shows that are revealing these things, or you're on X, you largely know a lot of these things. For people who are consuming legacy media, watching cable news, reading New York Times, etc., they have no idea who Ghislaine Maxwell's dad is, and that he was a legendary Israeli spy, that he stole Americans' nuclear secrets. Now, these are acknowledged facts, but if you tell people who watch television, they think you're a conspiracy theorist. They're like, oh, that sounds crazy. Ghislaine Maxwell, a potential spy for Israel. Her dad was their top spy ever? Oh, come on. You must be an anti-Semite. That's what legacy media told me. No, it's right here in the files. We didn't write the files.
Jesus Christ.
And they're saying, there's, again, over and over references to they worked for Mossad, they constantly helping Israel.
Yes.
So you could say, hey, they're all anecdotes.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna pause it there. I think we get the idea here, right? Oh my God, it's just, what will radicalize the people in the United States? Dear God, like, all right. Like, what I am curious is Fox News even let me just look real fast. Like, what is the right wing kind of circus saying about all this shit? Probably nothing. I literally see nothing here. Okay, they have one little article on their front page that talks about Bill Gates being involved with Epstein.
Life before NetSuite was complicated.
Okay, and we all know there's like a lot of left conspiracy, a lot of right-wing conspiracy theories about Bill Gates. Yep, of course. That's all they're talking. That's the only thing they're talking about on Fox News. That's good. Love that for us. Exactly. The only reason they're doing it is because they view him as a lefty. And guys, who is it that is being brought before Congress, is going to be brought before Congress? Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Now, hey, I'm all for that, but kind of funny, they're only talking about certain people here, right? God. Oh my God. Okay, I just can't. Yeah. Yeah, we're like, yeah, he's not a lefty, obviously, but like they view him that way. Okay, very convenient that that's the only people they're bringing. And what they're still screaming about fraud in Minnesota. All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna put my face up here. Oh, come on, in your groove. We know that won't happen. We know that won't happen in your groove, okay? But okay, we can see if it happens, but I really doubt it in your groove. Why the Congress and not the judicial system? Because, Victoria, the Justice Department decides who to charge with crimes or not charge with crimes, and our Justice Department has failed, okay? All right, to do that because they are part of the elites, and okay. All right, you guys. So, guys, I'm going to post really fast here. I'm going to post a link to our Discord. Please join our Discord if you haven't already. You can give me things to react to, send me messages, you can chat, whatever it may be. And we have a nice growing community on there. Would love to see everyone here on there. We have over 200 people in the Discord community right now. Here you go. I'll paste that there. Please join our Discord if you haven't already. Would love to see you there. And okay, probably in your groove, okay? Or we could make it part of the judicial branch. I don't know. There's a way we have to think about. I have to think about it, but all right, you guys. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go. I'm going to abandon all of you because I would like to spend some time doing some other stuff, including clipping some videos. So I'm gonna do that. And but I thank you guys for stopping by today. This is normally my day off, but I missed you all. I needed to see you all. I needed to see you all. Okay, so let me hand out some boops here before I go. We got to do some booping. Weird Amorphous Blob gets a boop. Boop. In Your Groove gets a boop. Boop. A Bright Love gets a boop. Boop. Tiago gets a boop. Boop. Jonas gets a boop. Boop. Virtual Violence gets a boop. Boop. Dolly Boy gets a boop. Boop. Who else wants a boop? Anyone else want a boop? Macy gets a boop. Boop. Godspeed, you always get a boop. Boop. Fetty Spaghetti gets a boop. Boop. Cody, how dare you? Cody gets a boop. Boop. All right. I don't know if I probably missed people. I don't care. Screw all of you. In Your Groove gets a boop. Boop. I already gave In Your Groove a boop. I take it back. LaQuaw gets a boop. Boop. Loiso gets a boop. Boop. I think we're done with that. Okay. So, guys, love you all very much. You're welcome, Jonas. Okay. Thank you, LaQuaw. I love when you post that little thing. So, guys, I will see you tomorrow. From the normal stream, etc., etc. If something horrible happens tonight, I'll come back on in a frenzy. Okay, so get ready for that if that happens. And yeah, you know what I'm about to say. I'm not going to say the whole thing. I was hoping you'd forget me. I never forget you, Virtual Violence. I never forget you. Okay. Drizilla, you get a boop. Boop. There you go. Ninjester, you get nothing, Ninjester. You get nothing. Nothing for Ninjester. Okay. All right, folks. No problem. Victoria. Boop. Okay. Outer Signal. Boop. Did I miss anyone? Did I miss anyone? Did I miss anyone? A Bright Love. Boop. All right. Free Palestine. Never stop resisting. You can't stand in the center when fascism is taking over. Okay. You can't stand in the center when fascism is taking over. Fight back against the motherfuckers. And the wall behind me is a sword. Do not forget the sacrifices of our ancestors. Chainbreaker reminds us of the ancestors or sacrifices is made. We cannot let those we cannot let the sacrifices of our ancestors go to waste. They put their lives on the line, and we always have to fight for a better future. Okay, folks, I love you all very much. You're all angels, every single one of you, except for most of you. But other than that, you're all angels. Okay, Clumsy, I will indeed. I will definitely watch it. I'll take a look at it. Louise, you get a boop. Boop. All right. Bye-bye, folks. Love you very much. Have a good rest of your day. Ta-ta. Ta-ta.